safe. Like, I really don't care. Like,
well, that's what submission is. That's what submission is that you.
Down that I think everybody is at some point deserving to receive love and to be even into marriage if they do aspire for marriage.
I believe that society shapes how we view things and how we look at things in our life.
Make your own bed. That's basically what Kevin Samuels is saying. His delivery is what people kind of throws people off. But basically,
aggressive or like violent, like where I think toxic masculinity is
no offense to men, that they also get this idea that, you know, women are just going to take care of them and everything is going to be like easy.
A domestic violence shelter, and he brought her up to be, you know, a $25,000.
Hell yeah, you need to judge in dating. It is what it is. You know, you can't not judge people just because you feel bad about it. Like, you need to know.
As much as I love my daughter, there are some harsh realities and some things that her mother and I teach her in order to help her to understand. And
like, I'm sure everyone knows a woman that, you know, had to other dates.
Yo, I like that long introduction with that last part. We will rock. I like that.
You hear that part?
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
This is the takeover. Nika and Knight is taking over.
Yay!
You don't get
I like her bow tie.
This is me. I don't.
You look great.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You look great.
I mean, it's a takeover. I don't know. I can't even talk anymore.
Takeover. So I don't need no bow tie.
Ooh.
You are technically correct. The best kind of correct.
So, our subject today is Black Girl Magic versus Black Girl Tragic.
Okay.
Okay then.
Hey. Thank you, sir. So, we're supposed to have some more women on this thing, but they're gonna show up. Eventually. So we're talking about women tonight. Hey, tu madre. And it's a couple of people that I did want to show, like, as far as like examples of like Black Girl Magic. We're not going to do introductions first. I know y'all used to doing introductions, but this is the takeover. So no introductions right now. Introductions gonna wait to the end or when you leave, okay? So that's the takeover. So sorry. I'm nervous.
Hey, I'm just security.
So
that's Carl's line, and he's sticking to it, man. I don't know. I'm just security.
All right. So I wanted to share three women, because the other women are supposed to come on here, so they're gonna be able to represent themselves. But it's like three women that can't come on here and represent themselves. And the first person, you'll see a video of her later on, is called Queen of Four. And to me, she's like an example of what Black Girl Magic can do once you focus in on your femininity. So I want to show you an example, which her name is called Queen of Four. So let's go to her right now. I'm sorry, y'all. I am going to her. So, Queen of Four. I need to go to this, right? So she started this a long time ago. And this one says Men Heal Thyself, but really, she wrote a book called The Sacred Woman. And she's been helping women, Black women, heal for decades. Let's see, Erica Badu, to name one, has followed her, read her book, and is good friends with her, and you'll see them later on. She basically leads you on a journey for health, and once you become healthy, then you can become mentally healthy, and basically leading you to your roots of African femininity, basically. So if you want to find out more about her, you will go to queenafua.com and check her out. Now, the other person that I want to highlight is Jennifer Branison. She wrote a book.
How you doing, Miss C-Chat?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
No worries.
Share her. I was just talking about her first. So Jennifer Branison, she wrote a book. She's a coach now, but it took her a long journey to get to this stress relief coach. She wrote a book called Release the Pressure. And everybody, if you want to check out some things, and see her in the interview that I did with her on Married Ladies Opinions on Instagram, you can just go to Married Ladies Opinions and then you can see the interview I did with her. And to me, she is an example of when you can turn tragedy into magic. She was stressed out. She had these fibroids. She had all these chronic diseases. And with just having a mentor and a stress relief coach, and now she's a stress relief coach, has helped her. Writing this book has helped her. Her fibroids are gone. She didn't have to have surgery. So stress can be a big part of becoming tragedy, becoming tragic, Black girl tragic. So she turned tragedy into magic. And now she's helping other people and helping herself. So that's another example of Black girl magic. So right now we're defining Black girl magic. That's what I like to do, right? Anybody else think that they know? Oh, you know what? Let me do the last person, and then we can go into the question. I'm sorry, y'all. So let's do the last person I want to talk about with Black girl magic and spiritual asset. Let me get back to this. So spiritual asset is also an example of Black girl magic, because we got Black girl magic versus Black girl tragic, right? So I'm showing a lot of Black girl magic right now, but don't worry, we will get to the tragic. So another example I wanted to show y'all is spiritual asset. She writes these things where these sayings where it kind of lifts you up sometimes it resonates with you, and she has this group. But she also writes books. She also sells things, and she didn't have much when she started as well, and she's a single mom. And she made, she didn't say, you know what, I'm a single mom, I can't do it. She said, I'm a single mom and I am going to still make my own way in this world. And spiritual asset is really someone who helps as a guide. You can also come to her if you need spiritual guidance. And she also has that on her website, spiritualasset.com. So these are just some of the things that she says on her Instagram. But you can go to her spiritualasset.com and find out. So yes, some examples of Black girl magic. Queen Afua, Jennifer Branison, and spiritual asset. Oh my God! Yes, this is what I mean by Black girl magic. Now, the question. Let's go to the question. The first question I want to give y'all. Drum roll, please. Drum roll, please. Let's go to the question.
I don't have a drum roll.
I'm sorry. Drum roll, please. So, what is your definition? Hey, Tangi. If you don't see the email, because we did send you an email, go to the top of the live chat and hit the StreamYard button. Just go to live chat, all the way at the top. It says StreamYard. Hit the button, and then you'll be on the panel. Okay? First question to the panel. What is your definition of Black girl magic and Black girl tragic? And then I will tell y'all my definition. I want to start out with John. How do I? Okay, there. How do I make John big? Thanks for joining us. This is the question to the panel, Lene. I showed a couple examples of what I believe Black Girl Magic is. Queen of Four. I know you've heard of her.
Yes, ma'am.
And I have another lady who I interviewed on my podcast. Her name is Jennifer Brandison. She's a stress release coach. She used to be stressed and now she helps other people. To me, that's an example of Black Girl Magic. You know, you can turn tragedy into magic. And then I have spiritual asset. So I wanted to know, what was your definition of Black Girl Magic versus Black Girl Tragic? And I'm starting with John.
All right. Black Girl Magic would, for me, probably I would have to agree with what you said earlier. Knowing how to move within her femininity. She's all about her family. Like, she understands her king. She understands her man. She allows him the space to operate in his masculinity. Yeah, that would be my definition.
What about Black Girl Tragic?
Not understanding that and living her life thinking that she is doing something
the opposite,
total opposite. Like, it's not. Yeah, that would be tragic because she had a lot of her good years, and by choosing the wrong man, not really having that guideline. Like, it's more to a woman not being in her femininity. A man puts a woman in her femininity by the way he conducts his business. Because if a woman feel like she got to pick up your slack, then she going to be in masculine mode because she feels like she got to do both. But when she's around a man that's already masculine, he doing the shit that she ain't got to do no more. When she realizes that this is a real shit, like, this is serious, like, oh, you really do this shit? Like, for real? Where you at now? Oh, I'm going to get my fucking hair and nails done. What you mean? My nigga got it. He good. We good around here, boo. Don't worry about what we got going on, boo. We good around here.
I know that's right.
But I thought we was not. You have her ass telling her girlfriend, nah, nigga, it's Cupcake Tuesday. I'm booed the fuck up.
Okay. Well, since we got a woman up here besides me, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me again. I appreciate it. Peace and blessings to the whole panel. Hello, Clement, Carl, Nick, and Night, Doctor. Peace and blessings.
Peace and blessings.
Thank you for coming. So, what do you think the definition of Black Girl Magic and Black Girl Tragic?
I feel like Black Girl Magic for me is definitely balance and strength. Just like I agree with Doctor what he said, that dealing with men, basically, once a man's gonna make a woman feel, if he's doing it right, he's gonna put her in her feminine bag, period. But if not, and she's gonna have to pick up the slack, she's gonna have to be in her masculine, which causes the friction between the two. But I feel like a Black Girl Magic is a representation of the complexity as well as the humbleness. Like, even though stuff gets rough, it's still beauty in it, and a beautiful disaster at the same time. But I feel like it's balance. It really is balance. Understanding where your part plays and then where you need to be, and understanding where your healing needs to be and what you need to do. So I really feel like it's just mainly balance.
Okay. So what do you think tragic is? Black Girl Tragic. An example.
I feel like tragic is when a woman is lost. When a woman is lost in different situations may cause it, but when a woman is lost, when she gets maybe too far into her masculine and she can't get out of it, when she's, too dependent on others, or it's when she can't pick herself up to be like, look, I got this. I might have to do a couple things, work a little bit harder, but when she can't pick herself up.
And do maybe what she's supposed to do with her femininity. Not necessarily pick herself up to do the stuff of a man, but basically, to me, I feel like maybe picking herself up in that time of tragedy. Like, say the children need to be bathed and fed, but that woman feels like they are the scum of somebody's shoe. They feel that way, but yet they still feed that child. They still hug that child. They still pick up that child. They still do what they need to do. And I feel like, to me, that's an example of Black girl magic. Like, you can still push through that. At least I think that's what you were saying.
Yes, I do. And I feel like that is. And then the Black girl tragic basically is when a woman gets when she is shattered and she is lost in her own pieces, she can't see the bigger picture. So even though she might be, it's like she's a walking empty vessel. Mm-hmm. So I feel like that's when the tragic comes, and when she, like I said, she can't pick herself up. She might be doing everything that she's supposed to, moving in robotic movement, but she's not living. She's not being in her feminine. She's just moving.
I got a question. Is this learned, conditioned, or is this just genetic?
Hey, eloquently.
Hello. Oh, that's eloquently spoken?
Yes, Tangi. She put Tangi up there. Okay, we can call her Tangi.
No, we cannot hear you.
We can't hear you.
Hey.
Nah. No, we don't hear you.
This is eloquently spoken. Yo, she's here.
You got to see where your mic is connected to. If you have AirPods, it's maybe connected to AirPods.
So, let's
Carl,
yeah.
Carl, elaborate your question again.
The question was, is this conditioned, learned, or genetically within the woman?
Which one? Black girl magic or Black girl tragic?
Yeah, no,
Black girl magic, I feel like it's all of it. I feel like it's something that can be learned, but it's already in them, and it just needs to be brought out. I feel like it's something that they need to discover, something that that's in their genes already, and they just need to discover it and use it. That's what I think. I think it's both. I think it's a combination of being genetic, being genetic and behavioral. Because a lot of times you grow up with what you see, and sometimes that behavior that you see becomes ingrained in you. You know, sometimes, not absolute. So the question.
I only asked that question because if I look at the Black woman 1980, Black woman 1990, Black woman 2000, Black woman 2022, they all was born with it? Were they all conditioned? Or was it already genetically in them? The reason why I say that is because their outcome in each one of these generations are totally different.
Still here. Mm-hmm.
It was at this moment that he knew he fucked up.
But wouldn't that be due to, even though each generation or each era has, the root of that, wouldn't that be the conditioning of the environment and the time too that will cause the outcome to change in different forms?
I agree.
I agree with that.
So
I think with women, they actually both. I think natural factors of life will bring that out of each. So for men, if you aren't ever put through any kind of hardship, that masculinity can never really grow within you. Men need to go through hardship to actually build that masculinity in them. They need to understand that they are protectors and providers. Versus women, they need to be placed in an environment that nests them, that kind of gives them that room and freedom to grow how they naturally are. For them to be able to, I guess, be a little bit more like, I want to say, sheltered and like taken care of, protected. And that's how women can actually grow that Black girl magic. But it's not so much, we can both sides could sway either way depending on their environment. Unfortunately.
How you define your Black girl magic?
Yeah, because that's why I led off with what I said, because when you look at, if you look at, like I said, separating these generational, the mother taught the daughter how to cook, sew, and so forth. Whereas if you fast forward as to today, you don't see that Black magic woman as what y'all described, that, as I say, traditional, being passed down. In other words, is it something that is something that is passed down, or should it be passed down? Is it a must, or is it just something that, hey, if you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't?
I want to answer Rose's question. Rosa said, "What is Black girl magic?" So we're all giving our opinions of what the definition of Black girl magic is. I think we did not hear. Did we hear what your definition is, Carl, when you went in? Or?
No, he asked a question.
No, I was asking a question.
Okay, so but I do want to answer her question. I feel like Black girl magic is what I was saying. It's something that is ingrained in you from birth. It's genetically in you. When I say Black girl magic, I mean melanin magic. We call it Black because that's what society have us. Yes, society have us calling it Black. But it's melanin. That's what I'm really for. It's the melanin magic that they have been doing research for decades on, knowing what melanin does. So I feel like we haven't discovered it yet. We're only at the tip of it. And a lot of times you see it displayed, magic and melanin, not just with Black women, but with Black women. A lot of times it's displayed in like athletics, poetry, art. Like we take it beyond what normal people do. And that melanin does that for us. But anyway, that's just my opinion. I'm used to speaking on opinions because I'm married ladies' opinion. So if y'all can see that right there, 3 married ladies' opinion. That's what I'm. Now the doctor, he can give y'all facts, but I'm just opinion. So
No, I agree.
Mm-hmm. So I want to ask Ebony, Ebony Bloom and Ebony, what do you think Black girl magic is defined when you heard me say Black girl magic and Black girl tragic?
I'd say I agree. I think when I hear most people talking about it, I think it refers to melanin. I don't really use the phrase, so I don't really have my own definition of it. But when I hear people saying it, I think they typically refer to melanin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what's an example of Black girl magic? Like, can you give me a concrete example? Does that fall like a definition?
Me still?
Yeah.
An example. I think a good example that I see often is like with afros, like there's a lot of like hair that defies gravity, and how that's like magical. And I think not burning in the sun is pretty nice.
That is pretty magical. You're right.
I need some more melanin because I burn in the sun. So yes, okay. So who hasn't defined it yet? Let's see. Clement.
Okay, all right.
We'll come to you, Carl, last. We go on Clement.
Okay. So the way I see it, Black girl magic, Black girl tragic. Black girl magic is it's actually a cross a little bit between what the doc said and Lene. Yeah, what they said. I think a woman being in her femininity and her expressing that to the world. But I think a big proponent of that too is how she expresses that within relationships with other people, because life is about relationships. Life is about how you interact with other people. So if she can, be in her black girl magic and do very well in athletics and create businesses and do great art, but can't get along with a man, I don't see that as black girl magic. To me, that's still a very much black girl tragic, because relationships are the key to life. Like, it doesn't mean you have to be with someone, but you need to be able to work with other people. And if you can't do that very well, then unfortunately that is black girl tragic. And that's, to me, that's how I see it. That's really what makes it a magic versus tragic. As many good things as you can do, if that can't be shared with other people or cannot work with other people, then it's just tragic.
Yes, I like that. I like that. So, last but not least, I know you asked a question, Carl, but what is your definition?
I'm getting from what I'm listening to. It sounds like black girl magic comes from black girl tragic, because if she can learn, survive, and persevere through whatever it is that is tragic or negative and turn it into something positive, that is magical. Rather it's surviving breast cancer, rather hysterectomy, and now she's running a group home or a foster home or teaching, disabled kids. I mean, anytime you could turn a negative into a positive, that is magical.
Yes, I love those examples.
So
I think that was dope. That was dope.
Yeah.
And basically, it's like what Clement was, to add on what Clement was saying, a woman that remains unteachable is black girl tragic. A woman that is teachable is black girl magic.
You are technically correct. The best kind of correct.
You was waiting. You couldn't wait to use
I couldn't.
You were waiting. Okay, so I guess the host, I did say a little bit about I need what black girl magic is, but I think Carl kind of jumped it and said what I was going to say in the end of that I feel like all black women experience black girl tragic and black girl magic in their life. I feel like when you're in black girl tragic is when you don't know how to get out, and is when you stay in there. And I feel like black girl magic is when you come out. You know? So he kind of said what I was gonna say, but
can I add something else that I actually wanted to say? I forgot, but now that you said that, it actually jogged my memory. I think also what can be very tragic is sometimes women won't realize that they are in this mode. And I think that's what could be the tragic part is. If a woman is moving in a masculine, everyone tells her that, yeah, cool. But if everything in her life is also positively reinforcing her moving this way, she's never going to see anything wrong with that. And I think that can also be the tragic part if she's not moving in her black girl magic and constantly staying in the tragic, but life positively reinforces that, she'll never actually know that something is wrong, except her outcomes won't, I guess, to my other point, relationally, her outcomes won't align out with what she would like it to. But she won't ever really know why, and that'll be the biggest, hardest point in her life, because she won't be able to answer that question. Why aren't my relationships working out? You know, I'm doing this well. This is working out for me. This works. But this aspect I'm still not successful in. Why? And I think, that can be the very tragical portion of it is.
All right. So it's 9:00. So we're going to go into our first video.
Okay.
All right. So let me Share the screen. There you go. All right, mute your mics for me.
So I'm asking you, since this is not a demonstration of a man, you need to tell me what man you're using to measure him with. Which one?
My idea.
Which is your idea.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is that the idea you trained him up to be?
No.
Oh, so how in the blazing bejesus are you holding him accountable to a standard that you didn't teach him, his father didn't give him, he don't even know what it is, and yet as his mother, you sit in his face and tell him you don't respect him as a man? Tell me how that works. Help me.
All right. Let's stop sharing. So, we're going to put our first question. I mean, the question to this is, did I pick it? Mm-hmm. Okay. Is it a mother's responsibility to raise him as a man? I don't know if I asked that question there right. Is it a woman's responsibility to raise him as a man? I want to start with...
I'm sorry. Hell no.
Hey, be quiet. I'm going to start with Lynette.
Thank you. I say, hell no. Hell no. It's not. I think it's the man's job to teach a man to be a man, period. The woman can teach the man how to love a woman, how to embrace a woman, how to be with a woman, and how to sit there and, uplift a woman and everything like that. But no, a man is going to teach a man, period.
All right, I agree in that sense. But let's see. Let's pose the question to Dr. John.
You already know my answer on this. Nah, that's my job. I don't believe in that. There's a lot of and when a woman is kind of forced into that position, she needs to really try really, really hard to find a trusted male figure, family member, or somebody to spend quality time with that young man, because in that absence, you have a very poor relationship that builds between mother and son. Because believe it or not, he's watching you, but he's not really watching you. Like, he's not paying that much attention to you. He's actually looking for someone who looks more like him that he can relate to. And there's going to be stuff that he's just not going to tell you. He's not going to talk to you about. And the same thing with a girl. She's just not going to talk to her dad about. That she just don't, feel. And there's some shit, I promise you, that we don't want to hear from him. I mean, that's why it's better together than apart. But when it's apart, then, nah. You need to leave that up to man.
So, all right. So, question posed to Miss Bloom Ebony. Is it a mother's responsibility to raise him as a man?
No, that's not how it's meant to be. But unfortunately, if you don't, number one, if you don't, I don't know her situation, but based on what we see often in the Black community, if you don't marry someone, and so now you're in a position to be a single parent, single mother, that responsibility has to fall somewhere, and it ends up being picked up by the mother. And I would say 100% of the time they typically fail at it because they're not equipped to take on that responsibility, but it's a responsibility that's meant for the father or other men who have that son's best interests. at heart.
Well, why do you think the woman is not equipped? Why is she not equipped to raise a man?
Because the things that men are created to take on, like pressure, stress, be able to problem solve, they were built to take that on biologically. Like their body thrives off of that, right? Off of that stress, off of, building that confidence, taking on those hardships and learning that they can get through it as men. Women do not. We do not strive on that pressure, on that stress. It starts to age us. It's just too much testosterone in our bodies. We weren't made for it. So we don't even know how to get through it most of the time. So how can we teach a young man how to do so? It's just not, it's not for us to do.
Miss Eloquently Spoken, you still here? I wanted to pose that question to you if you're here. Is it a mother's responsibility to raise him as a man?
I'm assuming she still has issues.
She's muted too.
But she unmuted for a second, and I think she didn't hear herself.
Well, her mic is probably not connected.
Can you get on the computer, TNG?
I think it might. Her mic might be like connected to something that she's not using, like AirPods or something. Might be.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. So maybe I'll go ahead and remove you, and then try to come back. Try to come back, and maybe it'll work this next time. Okay, so I'll pose the question to Carl. Is it a man's responsibility to raise him as a man?
Hell no, because that's like asking a bunch of black women. Let me put it this way. Mom, can you teach me how to shave? Mom, can you teach me how to think of all the manly stuff that women, I don't know, it's just something about interfering with the rites of passage, if that makes any sense. You know what I'm saying? It's just like a woman. Just because we know about the menstrual cycle and the pads and all, don't mean that as a father we should be doing it. That's a rites of passage between the mother and the daughter. So men, stay out of it. Mom, I want to get my hair cut. Men sit down and cut their son's hair. And, just different rites of passage that you just don't interfere with.
Okay.
So, no.
All right. Last but not least, Mr. Clement.
Yeah, like everyone else said, no.
Oh, okay.
But but does she have the that's also the question that I want to ask. It's actually John earlier. Does she have the right to tell him when he's actually being a man or not? If she can't raise him to be a man, does she have a right to tell him when he's being a man? Because I would say women are the best radar for detecting would women be the best radar for detecting what a man is?
That's a flag on the play right there. You're saying, does a woman have the right to tell? No, because
No. Wait a minute. He said, doesn't a woman know how to detect when a real man?
No, because she's already. Remember now, a woman is just going to give you the idea that she feels in her mind of what a man is. That can be tainted by so many different things, from her father or the absence of a father, trauma, ex-boyfriend, baby daddy. There's too many variables. So no, hell no.
Not to mention, man, most women are terrible pickers. They don't know what a man, they got to get picked. No, they don't know a real man when he step up in there.
So
that's why you think all these bad.
Let me ask a question. So if a man is the person who can truly bring out the femininity in a woman, why isn't the femininity in a woman able to detect a real man?
Because she's not. She don't know.
But that doesn't make sense to me. Like a real feminine woman can define a man.
Really?
No.
Do tell.
You can't listen.
Femininity is going to be brought
If
out.
she's in her true femininity, does she know who is masculine or not?
No, she
Because
she has an idea of a
she has an idea of who can protect her, not who's masculine, who can protect her.
Think of the man as a man.
She'll still go after someone who's probably like
feed off each other. So if the man can bring out the femininity in a woman, the femininity in a woman can bring out the masculinity in a man.
Negative.
Yeah.
No.
Your mother cannot bring out your masculinity. Period.
Oh my God.
Well, not your mother. Not your mother. It can't be your mother.
It can't be your mother. You can be with a partner. I agree with you now that you said it like that. I will understand what you're saying, but it doesn't work with like that with a son.
A parent.
Here's the thing. All right, I'll give you a very basic example. I use him as a great example, a wonderful example. Okay, when he was raised by his mother, he was extremely feminine. Why? Because his mother spent too much time. Oh, no, don't do that. You're going to get hurt. No. I'm going to put his ass. Nah, nigga, do it. See what happened. You know what I'm saying? He understands now, after living with me for almost a whole year, that, nigga, you a man. You got to be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Facts.
I'm not going to make your ass comfortable. Dad, when we going to eat? I don't know, nigga, later on. Not right now. But mom, baby, you hungry? You want McDonald's or do you want Wendy's? I'm not giving you none of that shit.
That's the conditioning. That's the conditioning.
That's a whole way. And when that man grow up after years and years and years, he don't give a fuck about that shit. He knows he's comfortable being uncomfortable. So that means he can go through suffrage. He can give her extra money and he go without. Cause nigga, that's what it takes to be a damn man in a family.
Or he can go in there and cook his damn self.
Carl. Let John finish his point.
You see what I'm saying?
Emotional damage.
Years. Nigga, the kids always had shit. She always had shit. I had to keep my shit for years, nigga. I couldn't go get no clothes for years. Shoes, I would take them bitches off. I get 2 pair and alternate them motherfuckers. That's the way it had to be. Because we got kids. She had kids when I met her, and then we had a kid. So it just was what it was. If I want to do something about it, I ain't gonna cry about it and whine about it, nigga, change it. Make more money. You understand? But ain't no need of whining about it. Why? Because she still gonna want what she want. The kids still gonna get what the fuck they need, and that's just the way it is. And if you want to make something different about it, then you're gonna have to do something different. The mindsets between the woman and the man is completely different. They're not wired the same. We ain't wired the same. I understand that part. A woman will come to you and be like, you need to do something. Right. She ain't finna say, I'm gonna do something different. Hell. No, she'll get rid of you. She can do bad by herself. She don't fucking need you.
She can do bad all by herself.
You're damn right. But I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say, well, hell, I can do bad by myself. I don't need her. Hell no. She ain't going nowhere. Nigga, I get another job. That's the way we built. That's the way we wired. I don't think you can teach that.
So
I tell women, think of men like.
Wait. Who's this talking? So, what I feel like, I don't know that much about Queen Afua, but I know. Do you know if she had a husband or not, Lene? With the sons that she have?
Say it again.
Do you know if Queen Afua had a husband? I know she had 2 sons.
I'm not 100% sure on that. I can't answer that all the way.
Okay. So I don't see any like she's never presented a man. She's always had her son out in front. But you saying a woman can't raise a man? Okay, I guess she would be the anomaly, what y'all say, because there's no absolute. Okay. Because I think like she's raised 2 manly men. You know, at least one of them is a bodybuilder that I've seen on her page. You know, because everybody's vegan or whatever, but they still are able to be healthy and everything and build muscle and stuff like that. So if she's able to raise strong, manly men, and because she's in her true feminine, like she's in her true feminine, she got strong, masculine men that's protecting her, that's provide, that keeps her like she ain't got to work. You know what I'm saying? She got her sons. That's
I'm about to touch on this.
I can't do it. I
can't
do it.
What
are you saying?
That's pathetic.
Stop the cap.
You know how to be a woman, and
You don't know.
she got them around men that know how to be men. You said they need to be around people who know how to be men. She probably had them around men who know how to be men. She know how to be in her femininity. She let them do things for her that men do.
Well,
she, you know what I'm saying? She showed them that what they're supposed to do for a woman.
Yes, you're good.
Yes, I'm sorry. Oh, we can hear you now. Yes.
Okay.
But let me say my point real quick. And then I'm gonna go to eloquently spoken. But I feel like she raised a manly man because she knew how to be in her femininity and where not to do and what not to do, and to show them as far as like what a man is supposed to do for a woman.
Okay.
That might not be something that happens across board, but I think that she did. But okay, eloquently spoken. The question is it the mother's responsibility to raise him as a man?
Absolutely.
Absolutely not, you said?
Yeah, absolutely not.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely not.
Mm-hmm.
What does the woman really know about being a man? Like, let's be realistic about it. Like I have a son that I raised in my singleness, and I messed up a whole lot because there were things that I thought that I knew that I did not know, and also because I was going off of the raising of single, you know, and the single momdom. You know, everybody I knew was like single mom, so you had this whole attitude of, oh, I can do it.
I can do it,
and I don't need nobody else. I can do it. When in actuality, that learning was so wrong altogether. And I made, you know, many mistakes because of that. And I'm not saying that a woman can't raise a man, that she can't raise her son properly, but he does need the basic male to be there, because women, we are nurturers.
Yes.
Right? And so our sons are always going to get away with more things than they should get away with, because we're always like, oh no, my son didn't do that. Oh no, come here. Yes. Oh no. Whereas a father's going to be like, you ain't doing that shit. That's it.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
You know, whereas a woman, she might say no, but she may say no 4 times, and then the yes is the 5th time. A father gonna say no, and it's no. He already know not to come back to the father.
Exactly. Yes.
So there is a big difference, because my oldest was raised without, you know, with me being a single mom, and the rest were not. And it's a big difference in how I seen all the other children develop differently.
Really?
Okay. Go ahead, Lene.
To kind of piggyback off of that, because I completely agree. It's ultimately up to the man, period, to teach a man. You can't teach an apple, you can't teach an orange how to be an apple, and vice versa. You can't, period. You can show that there's differences. You can show that there's all types of benefits, but you cannot teach an orange to be an apple. And that's where I feel like, because I'm a single parent, I still co-parent with the father and everything for that reason. Because I want my son to be able to know how it is to be a man. I can't teach you that. I don't have what you have. I can sit there and love upon you. I can nurture you, but I cannot give you that right there. So when women, I think when they do that and they claim that mentality as I can do it by myself and everything, it drains the hell out of the mom. It drains. So you're trying, it really unravels the mom. And that's why a lot of women are like, I'm a single Black woman, and they're so mad. They're so angry because they took on 2 roles at the same time.
Yeah.
Don't know how to sit there.
The world told them they could.
Yeah, so a lot of women don't want to have to be in their masculine all the time. A lot of women don't want to be masculine. They want to be in their feminine, because that's their natural homostasis, like that, or if I said it right, that's their natural state.
Yeah,
that's their natural state. So when you put a woman in that situation where she's got to be tough and nurture, it causes confusion on the mom as well as the child, and that's where you got a lot of sons out here that are like, they don't know which way to go. So period, I think that it's the man that has to do it.
Okay, hold on, John, because I think you answered the question already, and I think Carl answered the question already. So, but Simon has just got up here. Yeah. So I want him to answer the question, and I want to move on to the next video because I want to get to all my videos.
Can I just stipulate that she is married?
One of 4 videos, remember?
Oh, okay. I know, but I want to get to all lines. So
she is legally married, though. To answer your question from earlier.
The woman in the video is married.
Yeah. Queen a fool.
She is married.
Yeah.
So she didn't do it on her own. That's wonderful. No. Because I've seen her sons.
She was married twice. Her first husband died, and then she wound up marrying another dude.
Okay. Is that the woman in the video that we just watched?
Mm-hmm.
No,
that was Queen of Fool. No,
that was Ayana.
That was Ayana.
No, Queen of Fool.
The first person that I showed when I was saying there are women that's examples of black magic.
Mm-hmm.
Black girl magic was Queen of Fool. She helped people heal wounds. They heal their wounds, sacred womb. She helps people detox, mental health. She do all of that. So he's saying that she was married. Her first husband died, and then she married again. Because I've seen her sons or whatever, and I've read some of her books. Her cleanse is very expensive, so I've never bought it.
Did you guys watch another video before I popped on? So you're talking about something different.
Nope.
So the woman in the reaction that we just watched, the one being interviewed by Ayana.
Yeah,
the woman being interviewed by Ayana.
With a random woman and
random woman. Okay. So,
somebody who came.
There was actually no video. It was a page that we're talking about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the page that I had showed in the beginning was Queen of Fool. Okay. So now we are about to see Queen of Fool, but after Simon answers the question.
So what's the question?
The question was at the bottom, as you can see. Is it a mother's responsibility to raise him as a man?
I think I asked that in the chat. No.
Okay.
No.
All right, you answered it.
Sure.
So let's go to our next video. And sorry, y'all. Okay. So this is our next video is with Queen of Fool and Erykah Badu. We're gonna watch it a little bit, and then I'll ask the question. Hold on, let me go back to the StreamYard and present. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm getting used to this one.
Simon, you got fans.
Yeah, I know. So do you, bro.
Simon, what's cracking, bro?
How you doing, Doctor?
Hey,
I've been thinking about you, man. Yeah, it's been tribulations.
Yep, this is one. Mute your mics for me, please. All right, let's listen a little bit. I think it was from I didn't write anything.
And feel, and what we say, doing it. Don't change because you owe it to those children. Those children deserve it. They deserve it. And I just want to say that because sometimes I had a rough time and a few obstacles when I chose how I wanted my children to eat and behave and see and feel. And what we celebrated and what we did in my home, you might get a little resistance. And the reason I'm saying this is because it's very important. Because we have an opportunity and we can't change the world in a few weeks and a few months and a few seminars. It's a plan. It's a 20-year plan. From birth to age 20, we're watching these children in a controlled group as you are giving them all of these nutrients spiritually, holistically, spiritually, physically, mentally. You're giving them all of these things. And you're going to see this plan start now, and you see this plan play out. You will see children who doing it. Don't change.
Sorry, y'all. Sorry, over. So let's stop sharing and go to the next question. What is question number 2? Let's go to the banners. Question number 2 is it hard for Black women, mothers, to parent their children in this society today? So I'm going to start with Carl. I'm going to start with Carl on this one.
Is it hard for? I didn't catch the last part.
Is it hard for Black women mothers to parent their children in this society? Because we watched that video about Erykah Badu saying that it, even though it was very hard, she still pushed forward to feed the children how she wanted to raise the children how she wanted to put tradition in her children how she wanted to. And she kept pushing, even though society was pushing back at her that she should do something else. So my question is it hard for Black women mothers to parent children in this society today?
Of course, because like you said earlier, they're taking on another job that is designed for a 2-parent household. There's so many variables attached. I mean, from income to mental conditioning of children to roles that each play. So yeah, it's going to be harder. And the reason why she got so much pushback is because she was trying to go against the traditions that existed before her. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, forget about the man. I'm going to do this my way, on my terms, and without the man being involved. Well, guess what? Good luck with that. It's going to be harder because you don't have nobody to be a partner with, somebody to pick up the pieces, somebody to say, hey, you know what? I don't have $20 right now, but my partner does. Everybody in this chat has been in a position where if they didn't have it, they are glad they have a partner that could pick up the pieces so they can get past that one issue or that whatever it is.
So, but
They take that for
it's
granted.
kind of like, I'm trying to, maybe I should ask the question a little bit different. It's kind of like, do you think that it's easy for us to raise them? That's what I'm saying. Like, do you feel like, do we have a hard time? Is it an easy system that we have that they're going through? Is it something that is like, give me some.
Yeah, it's going to be. It is going to be harder because, like we said already, you're trying to teach a boy how to be a man. How the hell without putting in your ideological or limited mindset of what a man is. You only know from a limited base, and I say limited because it's based on the different men that you encounter in your lifetime, your father, your uncle. That's what your reference is from, or whatever you read in a magazine or on TV. You really don't know other than those limited exposures. But a man, he don't have to read magazines, books, or whatever. He's already a man. So he knows what to pass down to his son. A woman, she has to go read about what to pass down. She like I said, we're still riding that line on how to justify interfering with rites of passage. There's certain rites of passage that women pass down to their daughters and men pass down to their sons. It's not designed, no matter what today's revolutionaries want to be like, it's not designed for us to switch roles. Men teach women, little girls about their menstrual cycle, and women, y'all teach boys how to get a woman and how to be a man to protect and provide. That's not the design. And every time we try to interfere, it just gets worse and worse.
Yeah, okay.
But can I
Yeah.
can I add to that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm in agreement with what he's saying also, right? But let's also keep in mind too, if that man was not raised in a proper way either, and then now he's passing on what he learned down to his kid, that doesn't help either, right? So now if he's coming from a place where he never had a positive male role model to show the correct way, right? Then what parenting skills is going to be just as bad.
It's
So
not exactly though, because again, you're talking about rites of passage. You're still trying to dodge around rites of passage. You're gonna sit here and tell me that the average black woman is taking the time out to teach a boy how to shave or teenage young man how to
no,
shave?
she said parenting, period. Like, it's
How?
parenting hard.
That's part of parent. That's part of parenting, ladies.
Yeah, but
Parenting.
listen, you going off like I'm the answer that I'm trying to get is a answer about today's society and how it's hard to raise children in today's society. That's what I'm talking about. Not rites of passage, not the mother teaching somebody. I'm talking about, like, give me an example of today's society, like what's hard, like give me an example of what's hard when you're raising your children, what you encounter or what.
Well, parenting is hard on so everybody has it different, right? So it depends on your child. It depends on what you have on your plate. That changes how you parent. If a person who has a smaller child is probably in daycare, right? Now they have to work extra hard because now daycare is like what, $800 a week type of thing. So parenting or it changes based off of what you have going on in your life at the moment. You can have 4 or 5 kids, and each child you have parented differently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because things are happening in your life differently during each stage that you probably have those children. Mm-hmm. So you're not going to parent each of your children the same way. You're not. You're probably going to instill the same morals, like those type of things. But as far as like parenting them, you're going to parent them differently. So like if you have a child that's in their 20s right now, right? Back in the days, if you wanted to punish them, you'd be like, go in your room. These new kids, you can't tell them to go in their room. They like going in their room because as long as they got Wi-Fi, they okay. So a punishment is not stay in your room anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you have to parent according to the times. Like things are definitely changing, and so parenting is different per child and per whatever I believe, whatever's happening in your life during your parenting stages.
It's different.
1 second before everybody cut in. So I want to say something to Truemonger. The village can't check the children anymore. Yes. Well, Truemonger, if you want to come up on the panel, look at the top of the live chat and click the StreamYard, or just go to your email because we sent you an email.
Shout out to the
I want to go to John next, and then Lene, and then Bloom and Amber. Okay, that in that order. Go ahead.
So, when you look at the dynamics of society, it completely contradicts our culture. When I say our culture, you know, all the panelists on here are black. Like, it goes against our cultural beliefs. It goes against our moral principles, and that's what is being just pushed down the throats of the kids. So you have that makes challenge. You know, that creates challenges for parenting. You know, I'm personally not, because I speak very open with my kids, my boys. I got all boys, and so we talk about these things and we address these things, and I address it from a scientific perspective. I'm all about empiricy and and providing them with empirical researched information. I don't care about opinions or anything like that, and that's what I teach them and I prep them. And you know, you be respectful in these things right here, but this is not something you have to believe in. This is not something you have to accept. That's why I say one of the worst things that ever happened to our community was actually integration, because we had our own nesting system. We had our own system. It worked. That's where the village came in at, and there was a big difference. It was a disproportionate difference in the behavior of a young black child versus a young Caucasian child.
So you're saying segregation was good?
Segregation was a great thing. It was great when it comes to our school, because you're not going to get me to believe that back in which I think it was, I forget when Brown versus Board of Education, I think it was 1954 or 1952, one of the 50s. You're not going to get me to believe when the schools were integrated, that this white teacher had the same love and the same regard for this young black child growing up to make it as they did the white one. You're not going to get me to believe that, which starts the trauma that's going to be passed down for future generations on to the present day. And now we completely commingled, and there's a lot of beliefs that are not accepted in our society, in our race at all, like that, and it's just being gobbled down their throat, pushed down their throat, and that's my. I see Simon, you shaking your head, but
no. Wait a minute. No, wait a minute. Linnea's next, Bloom and Ebony, and then Simon. You can speak after her. Come on.
Take my person, and I want to actually address what Doctor's saying. So basically, when eloquently spoken was talking, I agree what she's saying. It is very hard to raise kids in the society, because everything that they're putting against, especially African American kids, they're not teaching us our culture. They're not teaching us what makes us, feeds our African genome. They're not teaching us the foods that we need for our specific body. They're not teaching the kids their history. They're actually trying to take away our history. So it's like, basically, I have my son and then I have my daughter. They're both two different colors. And even if I take blue and add them to both of them, it's going to be two different colors. It's not going to be the same. So you're going to have two different types of mentalities, either or, if you're using the same lesson. So it's really hard to teach nowadays, with everything being so exposed, everything being so accessible without logic, without understanding. You can easily look up something within seconds, read it, and then you can apply that to yourself without understanding or knowing where it came from, where it was rooted from. Okay, even if this is opinion or this is logic. And
media is a big problem.
It's a huge problem. I don't even let my kids watch TV. I don't even let them watch TV. I have certain things that I let them watch, because everything that they put in cartoons is, if you watch cartoons, they're adult cartoons. They're not kid cartoons. They're not teaching us about African American culture. And if they are, it's kind of like, here's this right here just to make y'all feel good. Here's this right here because I don't want y'all to complain about this or ban it or boycott it. Yeah. So, and to talk about what Doctor's saying, I feel like segregation was not necessarily the best thing. I get what you're saying. It wasn't necessarily the best thing, because when we were segregated, we got scraps. Even though the schools and everything were separate, we got scraps of the knowledge. We got missing pages in the book. And there are, and I'm going to say this, there are Caucasian people that actually do care about Black people. There's not a lot, but there are some. So we don't, just like we tell people, we don't want all of us to be categorized in one, we got to also give that same respect too. But segregation was a disrespectful time to us. Even though we had our own people, we couldn't be our own people, period, because we were always behind fear. We were always turning our backs and couldn't do this. Like we were limited. So I get what you're saying in the logical sense, but the bigger picture is it was still a negative on us. It was still a negative to us, actually. Like it was not a benefit.
If I should say it like this, I'll put it like this. If I wish that Plessy versus Ferguson, because I still will maintain the separation in the schools, but I wish Plessy versus Ferguson was actually implemented the way it was supposed to have been implemented, to where we were on equal par. Because that was the whole argument with Brown versus Board of Education that they brought up. You're giving 12th grade, you're giving 12th grade students 7th and 8th grade books. and you putting them way behind the learning curve in life. So yeah, I totally agree with you on that. But of course, as history shows, Plessy versus Ferguson didn't work, and the judge figured, it's probably never going to work. So why don't we just put them in the schools and then it has to work? Which I get that.
Hold on, because it's like 9:40, and I said I'm getting to all my videos. So I know what you were saying. I just want to say two things to what you were saying as far as the Plessy versus Ferguson. I feel like that if we could have got the stuff that was equal to them and still stayed separate, like you said, then we would have been fine.
Yep.
Because I feel like we were more together when we were separate in schools than when we started to integrate. Right? I do feel like that. And I want to say something to what Lene was saying about, well, not all white people, don't care about us. And I agree with you on it. Because, as you can see, white people in my family. But I want to say this to that. If you are sitting, if you can't go anywhere and you are blocked and you have this group of snakes coming to you, right? And you are scared of snakes, you don't know what to do, but they all coming to you. About maybe 5 of them is nice.
What?
Are you going to pick out, well, that snake nice, so maybe I shouldn't. That snake nice, maybe I shouldn't. Okay. So that's my answer to that. But I do love you, dude. Because I got white people in my family, so I understand what you're saying. But sometimes that's how it be. And listen, I got white people as friends. I love them in my family.
Oh my God! I'm gonna have to answer to this comment tomorrow. I already know I am because they're watching, but they know I love them, and it is what it is. But and they also know that we had these same difficult conversations. I've said this in front of my white friends.
All right, I want to give Ebony hers. Simon.
If white people said what you just said, Nick, maybe they get canceled for being racist.
Oh shit!
They're like, no, I don't mind black folks, but if a group of them are coming at me, how am I supposed to pick out which ones are the gang members and which one are
Fired. Pension canceled.
Look, Nick was the night.
Was.
Emphasis on was.
Okay. A group of, what can I say? I don't know.
I don't say anything.
You don't know you're scared of snakes, so that's why I said snakes. But
you might fast in your words.
Talk about the life thing, guy.
It cannot be erased. It has been put forth.
Go ahead, Ebony.
But to answer the question, this is such a tough question because I personally think a lot of parents have dug this hole for themselves. Do I think that it's hard for mothers to parent? But I think we can make it as broad as possible. Since we're talking about mothers, I think this applies for parents in general, but I'll just keep it on mothers since that's the question. But I do think that if you outsource all of your responsibilities to other people, you can't really complain about the product that you get back, right? If you're upset about how the school system isn't teaching your children well, teach your own children. If you don't like that your children aren't learning their culture, teach your children their culture. If you don't like the environment that your kid is in, take them out of the environment. They're your child. Stop having children for other people to raise and then complaining that they're not being raised the way that you want them to. Like, I get that there are different circumstances and different situations, but at some point we have to have some accountability and say, okay, I do want to have children. This is what I want. This is what I want for my children. So this is the setup that I need to create for myself. So I as a mother can meet the roles and responsibility of being a mother. Shahrazad, I don't think I'm saying her name right. Ali says.
Shahrazad Ali.
She said, there's more to being a mother than feeding and clothing your kids. Just because you give them a house to live in and they have food to eat does not mean that you are a mother. It takes a lot more. You have to teach them, right? You have to nurture them. You have to comfort them. There's so much that it takes to be 100% of a mother, 100% of a parent in general. And I think that we outsource so much of those responsibilities to go work for somebody else. And then our children lose out, and then we complain and blame the system that took on the responsibility that we gave to them. You know, and it's like, well, you're not the one empowered here. You're not the boss. They're technically the boss of you, right? So I understand that it's hard, but it's only hard because we didn't create the structure that our children need to succeed. And I've seen both sides. Women in my family, both of my sisters are stay-at-home moms. My sister right now is studying how to homeschool her own daughter. And they are not, millionaires. They're not even 100,000aires, but they're planning and trying to figure out how they can do it to the best of their ability. You just have to make sacrifices. And if you don't like what you're seeing in your life, figure out how you can change it. Take some control. You have the child, figure it out.
You are technically correct. The best kind of correct.
You just good. You can't wait to use that sound. Yes, perfectly.
That was good. Wow. That was. You know what that deserves?
So let's see. It's almost 10 o'clock.
I think Simon didn't go yet.
Simon is last. Okay, we're gonna go to Simon.
I don't think Carl went either, or actually, did Carl go?
Listen, Carl and Clement, I need y'all to skip this one. Can we go?
Wow.
I'm saying y'all comment. Y'all be the first.
Emotional damage.
Wow. Y'all be the first two in the next one, and then you can say your comment about both. Okay. All right. So Simon, and then we'll go into the video.
I got it.
The question: is it hard for Black women mothers, or mothers period, in your case, mothers period, to parent their children in this society?
Of course. This society
is hard.
Because what it is not to be funny or anything, but you're privileged. It's like you don't really understand what it actually takes, and you have a certain type of level, and that level is not it's not proprietary, which was the old school. The old school way of working was proprietary. You'd go to a proprietary school, and they'll prepare you for life. And what's going on right now is just an environment where people are being paid to take over, and you're like a battery. So you're just doing your own thing, and you're putting your child in a certain type of situation, and you're missing the whole game because it's a problem. Not in a problematic sense, but you're missing out. So everyone wants to do this because it's just easier. It's just like going to the store and going to the convenience store and go, okay, I could get some McDonald's or something. It's like you don't want to do the work. You don't want to build the burger. You want McDonald's to do it, right? So, and this might sound a bit crazy, but I'm just saying.
Yes, it does.
What has happened in society is you've become batteries. Like literally, like you're just sort of walking life, and what you want to do is at the end of the day is just make life as easy for you as possible. So you become a cabbage. You're like cabbage. I don't know if you saw those cartoons when you was young, Cabbage Patch Kids. Cabbage Patch Kids. Right? That's what's going on right now. And like unless you're actually surface level, like there's different levels to this, right? So there's 3 levels. 1, 3, 2.
This your last point. You gonna make this 3-level point, and then we moving on to the video. Come on.
All right. Do the video.
No, I want you to make these 3-level points.
Okay, no, I'm all right. Okay, cool. All right, neat. I'm just saying, like, I ain't about. Look, I struggle with my child and my children because it's just getting them beyond that, because it's so synthetic right now that the world that we're living in, unless you're sort of in a position to actually understand and detract from that, you're just going to buy into it, and that's just what it is, and you're just going to be in the metaverse, and before you know it, you're going to be some sort of cartoon character, just like, and you're not even going to have a say so in what's going on. But that's just what it is. Do you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. All right, so
thank you.
Thank you for your point. I appreciate you.
Can I ask you a quick question, Nick?
All right, what's the question? A quick question before we go to the video. Quick question. That's it.
Real quick. I just want to know, just for thinking purpose, I'm not even looking for a response.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it that the focus is more about how to do it without than do it with someone? Why? In other words, why does it have to? Why make it more complicated, more harder, and less simplified by trying to do it solo? Oh, I got these kids, I can do it by myself, yada yada. What's wrong with?
So is that an example of society, you saying? Because it's
Carl,
a lot of
that's a whole conversation, Carl.
Is that what you're saying?
A whole conversation.
Like I said, if you're saying I'm going by the question, is it more difficult? It can be if you allow it to be. How about trying to simplify it by not allowing it to be where you're doing both jobs or doing everything by yourself? Because like I said, you want to provide the structure and maintain it. How about you let someone else provide and you maintain instead of you trying to do it all? I can be a CEO of a company, but I don't want to be the CEO, the vice president, the manager, the administrator.
The employees.
Come on. Yeah, exactly. You're doing too much.
It doesn't work like that for women. It doesn't.
Wait, no, we not
like I said,
why not?
Like I said, it was just a question.
Hello?
I didn't want to answer. I just wanted to put the question.
We're not veering off into another conversation. We're gonna go to another little clip, and it's kind of like more of Black Girl Magic. But I want to say before I go on to the clip, eloquently spoken, Lene and Miss Ebony. Miss Blue and Ebony, you guys are on here because you guys are the example to me of Black Girl Magic. You know, it's certain things that y'all have done, that y'all are doing in your life, that you guys are Black Girl Magic. So before y'all leave, if y'all want to leave before we end, let me know in the chat or whatever. And I want y'all to tell people what y'all do and you know where to look for y'all at after the show so they can look for y'all. Okay? So we're gonna move on to the other Queen of Food is speaking to Erykah Badu again, but Erykah Badu is just going on with what she was saying about with following your path when it comes to mothers and how mothers don't understand. Did we do the mothers don't understand yet first? So now the next one should be that one. Okay, I'm sorry, y'all. I have been drinking. Anybody else had a drink?
I didn't know what kind of conversation it was going to be. I was like, I need all common sense here.
You all need to be here.
I needed to drink. I had to relax. Let me see. I hope this is the one. Let me see. Because I have been drinking, so let me see if this is the right one. Okay.
Don't change.
Is that the one I just played?
Yes.
Okay. So that means it's the other one. I'm sorry, y'all. Present, hometown, not that one, this one, share. Okay, let me use this one. Connect your mics. And I don't think that's the same one, right?
I'm talking to the young mothers who want to do things differently from their family. The young mothers who are improvements on their mother's designs. The young mothers who are
getting an echo.
wanting to feed their children holistically. And
if you can mute.
So do I need to mute my mic?
Yes.
And I'm talking to the young mothers who want to do things differently from their family. The young mothers who are improvements on their mother's designs. The young mothers who are wanting to feed their children holistically and give them a raise in vibration and frequency. Don't be discouraged, because sometimes our mothers don't understand yet. And but they will. You just have to be strong about it, you know, because you are them. You know, they don't see that part of themselves yet sometimes. And I want to encourage the young mothers and to continue to push forward with your belief system, with the things that you know are right, and let the heart lead you, and keep feeding your children the right things, and understand and study and know that you are doing the right thing. When you are feeding the children the right kinds of food and the right kinds of music, the right kinds of energy, you are doing the right thing. You're doing the right thing. I'm talking to the young mothers who want to.
Yo, she's a straight up.
You're muted. You're muted, Nick.
Mute.
I'm muted. Okay, so you wanted to, you know, encourage that's what this whole thing is. What I wanted to do, Black Girl Magic, Black Girl Tragic, because I know that in a woman's life, we go through tragedy and magic from birth to death. I feel like there are times where we are in tragedy, and there are times that we show our magic, you know? So I don't feel like, even though I put it a versus, I feel like that it's a part of both of us. It's a balance, like when they say. And we just need to know when to come out of tragedy and be in that magic. So the question for that one is, let's see. I don't have a question. Oh man. So just give me your opinion about what I just said, about what she just said, about like encouraging. What can you do? Give me some solutions about what you can do to encourage women to teach their children and in their own culture, like what y'all was saying. Give me some solutions of what they can do besides homeschooling. I know everybody said that, but there's other things that they can do. Maybe if somebody want to give. And then the other question that we didn't answer, we're gonna go to Clement first.
Yo, to be fair, Nick, you can't. You can't. You know, like you come across, like people are individuals, and although we have the same tone, skin color, you can't. Like, there's people that you'll encounter that will be competent, and there are people that will be incompetent, and it's just as simple as that. And I think, you know, we can't just point everything towards our skin tone, because it's like that's problematic.
So how do you think I'm pointing stuff towards everything towards us? What do you mean? Explain that.
Right. So I'm not saying you're saying that in particular. I'm just saying it sounds like Black women are in a certain type of situation, or may not be in a certain type of situation. So therefore, which might lean towards the thing of you need to actually, you know, facilitate this shit. Where we can't, we can't, everyone, we can't facilitate all of your shit. Like, there's different people. Like, certain people will just be certain people. There's certain black women I come across.
Come on now.
How about just build and focus on building the resources necessary so you can complete the task at hand.
No.
You can't.
I wanted to ask some more, like, we are talking about in that Black Girl Magic. So I'm going to go to the women right now before we end out, because it's already 10 o'clock. And to show some of the things that you do to display Black Girl Magic. What are the things that you do to display Black Girl Magic that we can teach young women who are watching this? What are some solutions that you've used to overcome the tragedy to go into your Black Girl Magic? And I'm going to start with Eloquently Spoken.
Oh, great. You would start with me, right? Oh, so there's many things, right? So when you're discussing Black Girl Magic or you discussing empowerment of women, that means it's a lot of work that has to be done on self, right? Because you can actually not have known anything about Black Girl Magic depending on where you grew up, right? Or what your background is, right? So that all depends on, and like I get what Simon was trying to say, like, there are going to be, everybody are individuals. So you can tell someone, and try to be encouraging. How many times in like regular conversations you may have tried to encourage somebody, but if they're not going to receive it, they're not going to receive it. There's nothing you can do about that, right? And so you just spend your time, it's like beating a dead horse, right? So now you want somebody to do better, but people are not going to do better unless they want to do better, you know? And so the best thing you can do is you put your best foot forward, and, you know, there's conversation that surrounds, you know, like with me, where I have my monthly meetings where people come together in a safe environment where it's non-judgmental. Everybody get to, you know, voice their opinions, but sometimes it takes one person to say something and other people start to open up, because the transparency sometimes is not there for everyone.
And when is your next meeting this month? I'm sorry, I'm interrupting. She has a monthly meeting where you can come and you can listen or talk or not. And it's just women, and you just log on to the Zoom, and it's very therapeutic. So let us know, when is the next one?
Tomorrow. So tomorrow's meeting is basically just in honor of cancer awareness, and I do this like every year, where it's not just on cancer awareness, it's on anyone who's battling an illness, and also for caregivers, because most of the time caregivers are overlooked, and they are the ones that also are overwhelmed, and they are the ones that's leaving work and going to have to feed somebody, going to nursing homes, going to hospitals. And those are the people sometimes that are most often neglected, and they're dealing with the same battles, whether they're watching their family member go through cancer or whatever, and they're taking care of them. You know, sometimes they are often overlooked. And so I have this meeting just to show people, like, there's support out there. There are people that's also dealing with it. And you'll be surprised that some people really believe that they are the only ones that's facing these issues, you know? And just because we're on parenting, it's funny because I had a parenting meeting one time, and all it took was one person to go, I don't want to parent anymore, right? Because everybody was giving basic answers. And that's what I mean about transparency, right? And then all it took was one person to go, I'm tired of parenting. I don't want to parent anymore. I'm sick of these kids. The hell with these kids. Like, I'm done with it. And then everybody just started opening up and like, yeah, I'm tired too. Like, I'm exhausted, you know? But it all depends. Like, you don't want to, people feel judged all the time, you know? And so in our course of, I guess, you know, empowering and encouraging, we have to be careful in the things in which we say to people. And then again, we can't beat a dead horse. Like, I can't beg you to want to do better for yourself. So that's the tragic part, right? Like, I can't make you want to learn or want to break the generational cycles that were put on you, right? Because there's many things that you learn, you have to unlearn. So, you know, just in that sense, we just have to, you know, want better, do better. But again, it all starts with self. We can't make anyone do anything.
Eloquently spoken.
Yes. on Instagram?
Huh?
Well, we still got a whole half hour left, by the way.
I know. Well, where they gonna find you?
Oh, on Eloquently Spoken for Us. So it's on Instagram. I'm mainly on there. So it's at Eloquently Spoken, the number 4, and then us.
Yay! All right, I'm Nay. Mr. Nay. What do you
Look, I was looking for it right now. I'm over here like eloquently.
Yes, girl, come to the. We have a meeting tomorrow. So
Yes. I will definitely. I have a couple things I'm doing tomorrow, but I'm gonna definitely try to come and support because I love that. And to answer the question, it basically eloquently said the same thing I was about to say. Women have to, as somebody that had to learn that lesson the hard way, women have to try to remain teachable. Remain teachable. A lot of these programs and a lot of these different situations that we go through in life will harden us to where we feel like, I'm not going to do it no more. I've been in pain. I'm tired of this shit. I'm not getting the results I need from this way. So let's do it my way regardless. We have to remain teachable because with these different people that we have, like this whole panel right here, this conversation right here could change at least one woman's life to be like, look, these women were talking about this stuff right here, and I need to hear this. Maybe I do need to listen. Maybe I do need to reach out. Maybe I do need to. And just like the Blooming Ebony said, we also have to sit there and want to do stuff. If you don't like the way, like she said, if you don't like the way that the school system is, teach your kids. Teach yourself to teach your kids. Unravel that programming we got from our parents and teach your kids. That's what Erykah Badu was saying. Like, we understand that we were taught a certain way, but that don't apply here. That don't apply for your kids. Your kids are different than what you were when you were a kid. Times are different when you were a kid to now. So we have to remain teachable. We also have to work on ourselves. We have to. There are so many things that this world is pushing on us, saying that we have to do. We have to eat this. We have to learn this way for us to feel normal, or for us to be equatable to their standards. And that's not the case. That's not the case. We're not even eating. My biggest thing is I'm a big holistic living, natural type of person. We're not even eating the stuff that we're supposed to be eating. We're not meditating. We're not doing anything of self-work. We're not learning basically how to connect with each other. We're learning basically it's a dog-eat-dog world out there. I'm here for myself. I'm only learning for myself. That's it. F everybody else that's against me. And if you're with me, you're my best friend. That's not the case. That's not the case. We really have to start doing some self-work and stop worrying about perception of other people that are basically trying to trick you to stay in that dumb bag. Stop drinking that Kool-Aid and get yourself your own juice and your own tea.
That's right.
So talk about
yes.
Your lives, miss. I love it because I love poetry. And a lot of times you be in the live when they be saying poetry and stuff. So tell people about your lives and what you're trying to do.
So with my Instagram, Renee Monroe, the Mother Herbal Butterfly, I try to create safe spaces for people to feel like they can let go, they can release, they can feel, and it's okay. Through poetry, through song, through talking, or just being there. This is a safe space for you to let go. So I do open mics. There's not really a scheduled open mic, but I do it when Spirit tells me to jump on. I do meditations. I just did a drum meditation the other day of just giving love, loving up on everybody. Because if I feed you, you feed me, we're full. And anybody that comes near, you have all these interactions with people in life. If I'm full myself and I deal with you and you leave my life, I'm still full. You should enhance me. You shouldn't just be my lifeline. You should enhance me. And if you leave, I can walk away knowing that you are a lesson, and then I can still be okay with myself because I love myself enough to know I can still be full. So I try to create safe spaces. I try to create connections and love, and really try to keep people to feel balanced. That's my biggest thing, feeling balanced. So Lene Monroe, the Mother Herbal Butterfly. I do open mics. I have an event that's coming up if you're in the DMV this Saturday with my co-hosts, 2 co-hosts.
You in the DMV, Lene?
Yes, ma'am.
I live in Parkville, in Baltimore. I live in Maryland. How I didn't know
I'm
that?
going to Baltimore next month for open mic. Yes. Yes. Yep.
And
If you're in
Benji, I know you're going. I mean, Eloquently Spoken is going to be visited sometime because.
Oh yeah, we can definitely get something
We're
going
gonna be
together.
sometimes.
Yeah,
I know, right?
This Saturday we're having an event. It's a free movie outside event. Getting the community together because now that it's getting cold, people don't. This is where chaos starts to happen because people get bored. They can't go outside. So we want to create different events for people to still be in the community. It's free. There's going to be raffles. There's going to be food, all types of stuff. This Saturday is for the free family one, and then we're working on the next Saturday, possibly doing an adult one, so that way adults can, be in their own atmosphere, relax and chill. So definitely check that out.
Information in the chat. I'm usually moderator, but today I'm hosting.
Gotcha. And thank you.
So go into the chat and put the information for the event this Saturday. Thank you so much, Lene, for coming. We not finished yet, but thank you so much for joining. I invited a lot of Black women that I've seen that are doing. Chris is always here. She's always doing great stuff. But Miss Eloquently Spoken and Lene is not usually here, but you are welcome to join us any Tuesday you feel like. And they are examples of Black girl magic, and that's why I asked them to be a part of this show. So everybody, please give them a
It won't let me comment.
Last but not least,
It won't let me comment for some reason, but just add me, Lene Monroe, the Herbal Butterfly on Instagram.
Okay. So Blooming Emily, last but not least, I know you have a channel, and I know that you are doing things to for self-discovery as well. And I want you to talk about those things, the classes that you're taking, and what are you doing on your channel as well to help. As far as I feel like you are an example of Black girl magic. Go ahead.
I think they cover a lot of the self-work, the inner work stuff. On my channel, I try to base it around the idea of if you're not growing, you're dying, and that you should always stay in bloom, which ties back to always being teachable. I actually tell that to a lot of men when they ask me about what type of woman they should look for. They'll like tell me about a potential red flag, and I'll typically tell them, well, it might be a red flag now, but do you think that they're flexible? Do you think that maybe someday, if you talk to them, they'll be able to learn from you, learn something new from you, and then adjust their own perspective. So I think being flexible, being teachable is probably the biggest part of being a feminine woman, which is what my channel, my Instagram is kind of tied around. It's just understanding that women and men are very different, but we balance each other out so well. But unfortunately, a lot of women have been mistakenly learned how to be more controlling, more aggressive, more forceful, more masculine. And I think that's probably like the Black girl tragic part, is just trying to be something that you're not, right? And then failing at it. So I think for I guess how I set the example of Black girl magic is I'm hoping through my channel, through my Instagram, I can share my journey, the lessons that I'm learning. So women understand that this isn't something that you're necessarily born with, and that's okay. I think there's a lot of rhetoric that women are just, they come out of the womb and they're like disciplined in this area. They're just fully like they've hit their maximum feminine potential. But there are a lot of skills that it takes to be feminine. There's a lot of hiccups along the journey. And I'm hoping that my channel helps women see that even though you live in a world where you have to be perceived as someone that knows everything, it's okay to admit that there are some things that you didn't know at that time that you were wrong about, or that you've adjusted over the years. You can change your opinions. You can grow in certain areas, right? And I think that's pretty much it. Just knowing that saying that you weren't born that way isn't an excuse. There's plenty of resources that can help you become the ideal person, the ideal woman that you want to be. You just have to take the time to figure out how to get there and how to find it. And hopefully you can do that with my help as well, through my channel and through my Instagram.
YouTube. Yay! Yes, examples of Black girl magic. I love you. Thank you for coming here. The last clip, though, kind of. Wait a minute, Clement, John, and Carl. Do y'all have any comments before I move on to the last video?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead, Clement.
I hope this doesn't sound negative, okay?
No.
But I also notice that sometimes when women say I'm going to, work on myself, do a lot of self-work, I think they get stuck in this rut of, I notice that it tends to be a lot of it becomes less working on yourself and becomes more, I'm going to do a bunch of selfish things and say I'm working on myself. Meaning, okay, I'm going to take a trip for myself. I'm going to just get my nails done for myself. I'm going to do a bunch of things just to make me feel good. I think when you're doing a lot of self-work, self-care, you need to start stepping outside of yourself. You need to become part of something bigger than you. You need to become part of a church, get into charity, do things that actually benefit other people, because that's what really, that's what human beings are all about. We're all about helping, growing a community. So I think sometimes when we say self-care, we have to be careful not to misconstrue it with selfish. And I digress.
I agree with him. I definitely do. I tell people all the time, like, this life is not just about you, right? People seem to think that this life is about them. Everything that's happening to me is for me, and no, that's not the situation. Like, everything or everything.
Your audio's coming out.
Your audio. Okay, can you hear me better now?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so I was just basically stating that sometimes, people do become very selfish, and I tell people, I say a lot of times, like, this life is not for yourself. Everything that you do, every testimony that you have, it is to help someone else. Your testimonies are not just to help yourself, right? Because what lesson is in that? Sometimes you go through things and it's not for you, it's for other people. So if you're spending, like, self-care, for somebody to go, oh, self-care, I'm taking a vacation. That's not self-care. Just say you're taking leave and you're going on a vacation. Like, that's not self-care, Self-care to me is more like you need to learn different things. There's things within yourself that you might need to unlearn to become a better you. Like, that's the self-care part of it. It is not getting your nails done and like, nah, that's regular. Like, what makes you think that's self-care? That's regular.
There's a difference between self-love on your journey and self-care. It's treating yourself to getting your nails done. It's treating yourself to going on vacation. But on your journey, you're supposed to sit there and give back to get more in your life.
Exactly. So I just think that sometimes people just take words and everybody just run with them, like, and that's one thing I think I've always hated about social media altogether, because I hate trending stuff. And like, when one person, if everybody's watching one thing, like, I'm not watching it that week because everybody's watching it. Like, it annoys me. Like, I need to watch it 2 weeks after, like. If you're doing a challenge, everybody's doing a challenge. I don't want to do the challenge. Like that bothers me. Like, so, like, yeah, everybody just take these words now. Even like the whole, into the universe. Like, I'm going to speak all of things I want into the universe. No, you're going to ask God
Manifest
for it. Like, no, you're going to ask God for it because God is the one who created the universe, right? So how are you just giving all the credit to the universe and not God? So, it's just like certain things you have to be careful in following, so I have a big issue with that. Like, be careful in your words. So even like what, like Clement, like just now, he was just like, all right, well, that's not self-love, you know, or self-care, because it's being used so often that now the word has simply changed, you know? So I'm glad that you even mentioned that, because I'm so tired of hearing stuff like
I
that.
hear it so much, and so many people. Oh, you know, just took this trip. Self love. You gotta love yourself. Like what?
Like what? No,
Well,
you just
we
have
tend to
vacation.
exhaust words. We tend to exhaust words to accommodate what we want to do to feel justified and feeling okay and walking in what we think is our truth. And that's not the case. It's the fact that this is what this means. Now, do you understand the definition of it? And if it applies, then applies. If not, let it fly, but find a different word that works for your title.
Exactly.
I mean, if I rob someone, I could still count as getting the bag, right?
Because I can't stand the word accountability.
You know what,
that shit
Clement?
is
Now,
so
you know
watered down.
what?
Get into the bag, all right?
Right,
Get in the bag.
in the bag, right?
Normal blood pressure go up here when somebody say accountability.
I can't stand that word.
But accountability is good when you don't ever take it.
You have to have first. I'm sorry.
Because some people never take accountability and they need to. So it is a word that should be used. But anyway, let's go to the last video. It's 10:21. It's 10:21. Now sometimes we go to 11, but you know everybody might not want to go there. But I want to show this last video, because this last video is just totally. Even though we did the kumbaya, and I always really want to end on a nice note. This is somebody who's kind of controversial. His name is Corey Holcomb, and he's going to tell a little bit of story about his thing with his, you know, with baby moms and stuff like that. And so his thing is kind of like a little bit of black girl tragedy, I would say. But here we go. Person. And this is the last video, and then we will be done. Here we go there. Oh no! Oh yeah, this is okay. So I'm presenting, and let me. You said I have to go on mute, right?
She had any kind of control over that kid. I'd have flipped out.
I had a beauty place where my daughter can go in there and get her hair done. Then her mama started going in there and getting her hair done and putting it on the bill.
Oh,
so I cut it off because her mama was jealous that her hair looked better than her.
Oh.
So her mama knew I was gonna cut it off when I found out. So she made it where her daughter hair don't get done. Funky bitch. I'm supposed what? Is something wrong with me for telling the motherfucking truth? My daughter called me when she was 16 talking about, Daddy, I need a coat. I'm like, how the fuck you ain't got a coat? So I wound up getting her a coat.
Okay.
But when my daughter was 18, I showed her all them checks that her mother get in her name every month.
So my mic was muted. Okay. Hey, everybody ever seen the 5150 show, Corey Holcomb?
You know Corey.
Hey, so Corey Holcomb is a comedian, and you know, I really never really liked him in the beginning. He kind of grew on me a little bit because some of the stuff he say is true. Because sometimes I think what I got offended about Corey is because sometimes you be equating yourself with what he's saying, so you get offended. But then when I realized that he ain't talking about me, then it's funny. So I think it was kind of like, that's what Corey won me over, because it was kind of like, well, what you mad at? I'm not talking about you. If you ain't that trifling person, I'm not talking about you. So why are you mad at that? And I was like, yeah, that's right. Because there are women that he described that are like that. And that's that black girl tragic that we talking about, right? So the question for this one is, should mothers be able to use child support for personal reasons?
Oh, Lord.
And I'm going to start with Dr. John.
Hell no. It ain't for you. It's for child support. Ain't got shit to do with you. Nothing to do with you. Nothing. Because there's two arguments centered around this. Well, your child has to have a place to live. Your child has that. You keep talking that nonsense. So you saying that you can't afford a place to live? You saying that you can't keep the lights on? We need to go back to that fucking judge and we need to change domains. That child needs to come live with me. Period. That means you can't afford that child. You need to get a job and be able to take care of that child. Child support is for that child. That whole mathematical equation has been broke down to where this is how much it costs based on this is the kind of lifestyle this child could have. And when both parents work, the child support is lower because of that. But that money is not for you. That money is for the child, and I've experienced it. When my baby reached out to me and say, "I don't have this, I don't have that," or he was lied to and said, "Well, I didn't, you didn't pay." What? That was auto deduct. What you mean? I don't have to go put no damn check in the damn check. Them folks got their money. You ain't finna have me behind no damn bars. You crazy? No, it ain't for you. It's not for you. It's for that baby. If you got spousal support, that's for you. You don't get that. It's child support. That's for the baby. Ain't got nothing to do with you. Nothing. And quit measuring a father based on the money you pay anyway. It's more to a man than just the money that come out of his pocket. It's a lot to us. I digress.
Ooh, bars. I think Chris is next, actually.
Yeah. No, I agree with Dr. John. The child support is for the child. Like the fact that we have to answer this question, I think, is ridiculous because it's literally in the name. But yeah, I think it's 100% for the child. I personally think the way that child support is set up is very odd. I think the father should be able to purchase the items that their children needs, give it to them, and then use that receipt to then go to the child support place and prove that they are supplying what their children actually needs. So whether that be like, oh, I got this for school lunch, I got this for clothing, I got this, and like there should be more effort put into the child support system so that mothers cannot take advantage of it. I personally think, I don't think that's fair at all. Like I've seen it. I've seen mothers get child support and they'll go get their nails done and their poor children are wearing shoes that are 2 sizes too small, even though the father is paying $1,000 a month in child support. Like I've seen it, and it's really, really sad. And those poor children also end up not liking their fathers because the mothers will complain and say that the father isn't giving them the things that they need. It's just all messed up. So I'm not against child support. I think that if that's the way that you have to share your part, that's how you should do it. But I definitely think that it should be structured in a way where mothers cannot take advantage of it in the way that they have been. And obviously some, I think, not all.
Not all, of course.
All right, Carl. Next question.
I think they need to abolish the whole damn system, period.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's too easy to be manipulated, like Chris said, and people are not. We're selfish people. Nobody gives a fuck about their kids anymore. So it should be just, yeah, I'm being honest.
Oh my God!
Oh my God!
I'm being honest. I mean, you know, I know it hurts. I know it's offensive. I know what I'm saying. But if I had to really dig deep, a lot of people don't give a fuck about their own kids, and that's only because the only time people bring up kids, really, if you notice, is during tax week. Yeah. Other than that, fuck it.
Guys, Carl, that is not true.
It is. Because let me be honest with you. The average person, and I'm gonna say it about the black person. Nigga, the idea of you getting up every goddamn morning. Now remind you now, all of us got our high school diplomas already. Some of us already got our college. Nigga, you gotta get up every morning, 7, 8 o'clock, and make sure this person is fed and everything, and taken to school and come back. That shit is a lot. This time you don't want to get the fuck up.
But you got to if you're the only
I
one there.
didn't
You do.
See what I'm saying? Okay.
You ain't got no choice. What you
Okay.
supposed to do? Let the kids stone? So we
Hey, I want to piggyback off of Carl a little bit.
We can lie if we want to, but every person have lied and said,
No, wait, you already
man,
talking on.
Hey, listen here, man. Listen here. I'm gonna tell you something. Let me just tell you. Since we live like 3 hours from his mother, right?
Mm-hmm.
I ain't gonna lie, my homegirls, I'll be like, hey, come through. I'm too much for him sometimes. I'm like, hey, show him a good time. He goes some money, you know what I'm saying? Take him to spend some woman time with this man. Because hell yeah, she go spend time with my homegirls. Like, boys need balance too. You can't be like around. I don't think
Chase,
you 100%
you
around.
have Chase spending time with homegirls.
Hell yeah, he spends time with my. I hang around like cream of the crop, like engineers, stuff like that, like positive people. I don't hang around no damn potential convicts and no shit. They are good people and they mothers. The point is, even though I agree a man can raise a boy, but you can be too much.
You still need that balance.
You can be too much. Like you can't be. I'm aggressive. He pissed me off. He'll tell you I'm aggressive. Like he ain't fixing to talk shit back. He ain't gonna say nothing back. That's a fact. But I need him. I try to be soft with him too. But that ain't really like part of my whole.
Why the balance somebody else? Why the balance not his mom?
Because she's 3 hours away. She's 3 hours away. Like it's not convenient for she's trying to work and stuff like that. So I let him spend time with my female friend so that he can get a break from me for a little bit, and then reset his clock. Because I ain't like Carl was saying, nigga, sometimes I be in this motherfucker like a nervous, like you ain't meant to do all like I'm telling you, man. Like I'm trying to tell you, bro. You listen, all that damn cooking,
you discovering
all that damn showing him how to iron and showing him how to do shit that he have no idea how to do, bro. Like, come on, man. This shit like, damn, it's 6 o'clock already, nigga.
You discovering single fatherhood.
Hey, listen. My heart go out to any single fucking parent. You hear me? Nigga, I'm trying to tell you, bro. I'll be like, hey, look, hey, son, look, nigga, hey. I'm gonna sleep for 25 minutes. You gotta wake me up in exactly 25 minutes. Don't let me goddamn oversleep. Now you got to check in. Cause I'm gonna fuck around here to dream. And it's gonna be 9 o'clock before I think
I want a day off. Fuck that shit.
It's been
trying to avoid REM. You don't want to hit that REM sleep.
Let's go ahead.
I want a day off.
Like, get in the car. And I'll be thinking, I'm like, shit, which one of my homegirls?
Wait. So we had Chris, we had Carl.
Okay, so I'll answer it.
Okay.
I agree with the Bloom and Ebony in reference to how the system is set up. I don't think it's fair, period, point blank. Because sometimes there are people who are paying child support and they can't even pay their own rent to take care of their own personal living expenses. And I've also been on the side where I see where the people who are paying child support, they're struggling, right? And they're also paying child support, and there's times when they're also still providing additional money to take care of the kid, So I think, like she said, like, how like in Social Security where they need itemized to see what you're doing with it. Like, I think they should have a better system set up in place to see how the money is being spent for these children, because it makes no sense that you're getting money and this kid don't have no shoes or no coat. That makes no sense. And like, think about it. When you talk about the celebrities and how much they have to pay for child support, right? You'll make them pay a whole bunch of money because they should be living equally in each household. The kids should still have the same thing as that the mom have and the dad, right? So what makes it any difference in lower income households that when you leave from my house and I have food, now you go somewhere where there might not be food because they don't spend all their money in the child support? It's not equal. It's not set up properly. And they really need to adjust that whole child support system all together. I think it's horrible.
it's really horrible, and kids are suffering while the parents are receiving. And then I don't like to hear also when people say things like, "Oh, they got to have a roof over their head." If that child wasn't there, you still need a roof over your head. Let's not use that as a way. You would still have to get food, because these are still the basic necessities that you need to take care of yourself. You know, so the whole system needs to be revamped.
Yeah, I was like, that was just an example of black girl tragic to me. When I heard what he said, it was just like, you just messed your daughter up from getting her hair done all the time.
And you'll be surprised how many people do it. Like, you'll be surprised.
You know you're not gonna pay for it no more if you do that, and you just messed up stuff for your daughter. Like, how do you do that? Like, that's staying in black girl tragic. That's she can't have.
But also it also brings a division, right? It also brings a division amongst families too, right? Because at the same token, like, just because somebody, like, you can be the greatest father and not give $1. Like, you can be there spending the time picking them up from school, like, doing all those things. But let's not place so much emphasis on the money of it, because what the kids is going to remember is the time that's spent with their dad. Mm-hmm. They don't care how much money you're giving them, but they want the time. That's what they want. But when you start adding money, it starts getting messy. And now everybody and then you put these kids in the middle of relationships. Like, oh, well, your father didn't give me this, or, you know, or your mother didn't do this. Like, no, because one thing you should never do is try to put parents amongst each other. Like, y'all both doing this job together, and it really should be done together. So I think when you start to put this whole child support, it could get somebody angry, because now this money coming out their check. Like, just everybody equally take care of the kid, and it would solve the whole problem. When he with you, you get what needs to be done, and they with the other person, then you get what needs to be done. But that's all based off of communication, and that's a whole nother topic that we would have to go on when it goes to that.
Y'all do realize this is the only sexist thing that has never been challenged by women.
And you're right, women don't stand up for that, but I'm a woman standing up today saying, like, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous because
it benefits. That's why they don't. The only sexism thing that no women really fight up against. No, they're not challenging that, nigga. That's my money, man. That's shit. Free money.
Only double standard that they don't care about. Like last week, Will.
No, I agree. I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, that's the double standard that women just be like, well, no, man, take them to court, Like, you don't always have to take them to court. Like, you can come up with a system between yourself instead of taking them to court. Like, for example, my mom and my dad just opened an account with my name, and whenever, he got paid, he put a certain amount in there. So, it wasn't, so you didn't have to deal with the court. So, and then when I got to college, that card became my card. I used that. That was me. So you can come up with different ways to solutions without using the system.
Well, that all depends, because then you have some women, right? Say they were in long-term marriages and they never worked, right? So they were stay-at-home moms all this time, and now he's gone. That means the money is gone, right? So, like, each situation would definitely be different, because now how do you say you put something in here when this person probably didn't even acquire any working skills because they've been parenting the whole entire relationship,
But they got skills though. Not even parents, and they got skills. They just gotta know how to work.
But now, like, this person is stuck. They don't have the home, and this is where the spousal support comes in, right? Because now is a challenge on how much they would get, or in some cases they don't get anything. Mm-hmm. So it's like it's so many different situations that's at hand. Like, again, it would just need to be completely revamped altogether and try to tackle every situation that kind of could come into play.
It became a hustle.
I agree with Carl. It should be abolished.
It should be totally abolished.
I think it should be abolished too.
Abolished.
Because like even with my
Abolish.
even in my situation, my son lived with me and I'm still on child support. Like I still have to pay. And
That's
they was like,
insane.
yeah, I know it's insane. I told them, well, until the judge orders, I said, well, I want all mine. I'm just telling you. And I'm not gonna get it from her. I'm gonna get it from y'all. Y'all gonna give it back.
And that's so
My
crazy.
son been on me for almost a year.
I've heard of that too, and so many. Like, I work in department. I work in social services, so I see all aspects of it, and I think that's just so horrific that the child is living with you, and here you are talking about child support. Like, who even signed off on that? Like,
That's crazy to me.
who thought that was okay to do that? Like, I'm already taking care of the child. They're living with me, right?
Yeah. Like you literally taking money out of his mouth, but you say we do things in the best interest of the child. Well, how in the hell is that his best interest?
Yeah, like
for the court.
If I didn't make the kind of money I made, we would be I'd be hot, like mad, big mad, huge.
Not to mention the domino effect that it has, because that man started a new relationship, marriage, and he's taking care of that family, and he got paid child support for a chick he wasn't even married to.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't even married to her. It just oops. And this is why I said
that's why it
it's
should be abolished.
vindictiveness. It's too open for manipulation, vindictiveness, all kinds of bullshit that is unnecessary. That's why motherfuckers don't want to get married. Because for what? This is a hustle, man.
If
Three
it was
different
abolished,
niggas.
If it was abolished, people would make better decisions.
Of course, because they know there's nothing in it
I
for them.
agree. I definitely agree.
Like, wait a minute.
You mean women? Like, wait a minute. I can't have his baby. He don't even have a job.
Right.
You ain't gonna get nothing out of it.
Be a millionaire.
But, hey, that's the way it was when I was growing up. When I was growing up, that's the way it was.
Wait, can I chime in?
No job.
Chris?
So
A girl.
if men, okay, I understand what you're saying a little bit. Okay, so I guess if you abolish it, women, that would take away the incentive for women to have children, be reckless, sort of, some of the incentive. But shouldn't having like the risk of paying child support keep men from being reckless?
No.
But no, just listen, like I don't understand how abolishing it, like having it should keep men from making bad decisions. It may not, but it should.
No,
Why isn't it reversed? If the consequence is on the men to pay child support,
stop making all these.
Wouldn't it make sense for them to also make better decisions? Even if you abolish it, it should. I agree with you that it should make it's removing the incentive for women to have children out of wedlock.
Why only men gotta pay it?
Wait,
Well, typically men pay it, but I think it's the
women can pay it too. Women can pay it.
Women pay it. Women pay it.
Women pay it too. But if it don't apply, look. So y'all saying no, it don't apply to y'all. I get what you're saying, Bloom and Ebony. If it don't apply to y'all, then it don't apply to y'all. Y'all doing what y'all supposed to do. You get what I'm saying? So I get the resistance on it, but I think because I'm completely against child support. I'm not saying that I wouldn't. For other females, it might apply to them, but I fight tooth and nail to avoid that route because of the huge trauma it brings onto the whole family. Even still, you might be getting your money, you might be getting this. There's so much restructuring that needs to be done now from this point that people are overlooking. It's so much damage that's done to the kids, the family dynamic, that people are overlooking. So I feel like it has to be restructured. The biggest thing, it should be implemented. If you are a father period, and unfortunately, doctor, your situation is a little bit different. If you are a father taking care of your kids, I feel like it shouldn't affect you. But there are fathers out here that are not doing nothing for their kids. They're not doing nothing. There's fathers out here and women that will avoid jobs so that way they don't have to pay nothing for these kids.
Yes.
And not
so if you are doing what you're supposed to do, and unfortunately there's people that have to go through it even if they are doing. And I'm sorry that you have to go through that. But there are people that make it worse for y'all. They make it worse for y'all. Yeah. I think they should have it restructured to where not only the mother and the father and the kids should go through therapy consistently to get that money. I think the money should be earned. Like the money should be shown that both parents are doing what they're supposed to do outside of the fact that this court is saying that you have to pay. They should go to therapy individually and as well as a family. They should show receipts. They should also be checked on what they're spending. If they're paying their own bills, they should also have their jobs, just how like they do with food stamps. You have to sit there and show everything that you're paying just for the government to say, oh, we'll give you some money. So there should be receipts in every aspect. There should be healing something.
They don't care about
please. Niggas will pick up receipts out of Walmart off the floor.
But it should be more structured. That's what I'm saying. I understand there's loopholes and stuff. Well, then we need to figure out more structuring to avoid these loopholes. But I don't think it should be abolished, because if you abolish the whole thing, there's going to be a lot of women that's going to hurt because of that, unfortunately, or a lot of men that are going to be single fathers going to hurt for that, unfortunately, because you got a lot of ignorant ass people out there that are not doing their jobs.
There's no way you can stop black people from fucking.
Hold on, Carl. What's that?
I can go.
Yes.
I think better than abolishing child support, I think we should bring back shotgun weddings. I think if you have a baby by somebody, you should have to marry. And I think that would solve so many problems. If you get pregnant by them, you have to marry them.
Yay!
You have to.
There you go.
So that's
I am with you, Blooming.
But the thing is,
I am so pro you right now. I am pro you right now.
I didn't always think this way, but when I know people personally, and I actually see it on social media as well. But I've heard women say, like, they'll get pregnant, right? And in my personal life, I've asked women, okay, so when's the wedding gonna be? And they said, I'm not gonna marry him. I'm having a baby. I'm not gonna marry him. I don't want to be my husband.
And I never understand
and I said, then why would you make him a father if you don't think he'll be a good husband, right? And it's just the worst situation ever, the worst parenting situation ever. So I think if you're gonna have a baby by him, you have to marry him. Before the baby's even born, you have to get married. And if you do not see yourself marrying that person, don't sleep with them.
And if you're going to be having 6 and 7 children, you should be able to have the funds to take care of all 6 or 7 children. Like, all kids should be treated equally, right? It can't be just the ones that's in the household with you now, and now because you got a new family. Like, that can't be the situation, and that happens so often. So I get exactly what Ebony is saying in reference to that. Like,
and that's why they overturned Roe versus Wade.
Where you at?
So
we ain't touching that. Like, that's not
Y'all want to fuck, huh? All right.
That's probably a topic.
That's a whole nother conversation. That's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, like, we ain't touching that.
With a whole bunch of different questions.
Hey, y'all want to fuck, right?
So
all right.
Everybody answer that question of, should the mother use it for personal use? Everybody answer that.
No, sir.
I didn't answer that. I don't think it's right that the woman can use it for personal use at all. Like, it's like Doctor said, it's for the kids. You should be, as an individual and as a parent, be able to support yourself. You're telling the other parent, the man or woman, whatever the case may be, that you need assistance for the child, not assistance for you as a grown ass person. So the child should get all of those funds, not the parent.
You can't follow.
Hey, mute yourself when you're talking to your son, Mr. Doctor. Okay. So, yes, I agree. So, with that question, I feel like I might shock y'all a little bit in the sense of, I don't feel like they should abolish it. I feel like they should do the things like when they were saying, and I feel like they should have like these certain things. Like, they should have these certain things. They should already have these things written down of what you could spend the money on when it comes to the child. And you should just be like, okay, I spent it on this, I spent it on this, I spent it on that. You know what I'm saying? So you can itemize it and you know it was actually spent on the child. But in a sense, like, you have to pay bills, right? Sometimes I'm in a situation where I have somebody to help. If I was by myself, I would need that other extra income to help pay for the half of the bill, because for real, I'm not making enough, or my job is not making enough. What if that happens? My job is not making enough to pay the whole light bill. So I need that child support to help maybe pay the light bill. So I feel like that's a personal bill.
That's when you communicate with the parent. You communicate with, if I'm, okay, so for example, and I don't mean to cut you off, because I get what you're going with that. If I'm the mom and you're the other parent, right? My bills are short, but you just paid child support. I can come up to you like, look, Neek, I know this for the kid. I know this is for the kid. Do you mind if this goes to this bill, which is for our kid, to sit there and be okay? And if not, then we can communicate, or could y'all, that's where you communicate. It's honestly the co-parenting and the communication. Like, or you can ask the parent, could you help me? And I give you back the money that you sit there and help me with.
Nope.
But I don't think you sit there and
they don't even matter if that child with you. I'm sorry. It don't even matter if that child, if you spent the day with that child. Say that child came to your house to go to school and then they came back. If that child spent the night at the mom's house, it's considered the mom considered the primary caregiver.
Stop living beyond your
I feel
means.
like this is both your child, right? If it's both your child, and it's both your duty, right? So if my kid had to go somewhere else, why would I, and they're having a difficult time over there, why would I not help out? Why would I not help out? Because at the end of the day, like, if he said his light was going to turn off, I'm going to help pay his light. Because I don't want my kid and him in a door, because my kid got to go over there. Like, I'm sorry. I just see it.
You know what it is? People need to learn the budget.
Finish your thought. Go ahead.
No, I just see it in that light, because I just feel like this is where the communication and the division begins, right? Because if we're raising this kid together, then we're doing it together. So, like, if you having a hard time, like say for instance, he lose his job, right? And now he's stuck. I don't want to see him in the streets. I'm gonna help him out. Like, it just, and this is weird with, like I said, with the whole money situation, because people get angry because they got to come out of their pocket. People get, and that it causes so many different things to happen, right? The division is crazy. But again, if this is somebody who you wanted to have a baby with, you shouldn't have a problem helping them, because y'all should be able to do this together. I'm sorry.
And
like,
it's not that hard. I totally agree with what she's saying.
Like,
I've done it before.
Yeah. Like, I'm not going to let my kid go somewhere and there's no lights on. And even if my kid wasn't going over there that week, if he still don't have no lights, I'm gonna help him.
I don't disagree with that.
Communication and it's content. Y'all made this child together. So y'all have to work together outside of the. A lot of parents will put their discomfort. A lot of parents will put their discomfort. I don't like this man, even though you might not like the person that you made the child with, that has nothing to do with it. Put that shit aside. Y'all need to work together for the kids. The other personal shit, you don't even have to talk to this person. But if I'm coming to you, look, our kid needs this. How are we gonna come? How are we gonna do this? How are we gonna do this? How are we gonna figure this out? And then you don't even have to talk to the person after that if you don't want to. But y'all need to come together, at least as a parent. The other stuff, that's where I said the therapy should come in, because it's still ideal to show your kids that y'all can work together without being together.
You can't force
until you get to that
and
point,
everybody don't like therapy.
Yeah, like until you get to that point of acceptance of that, you still need to put the kids first.
Yes, I believe that part. But as far as like, I can recommend therapy, and I believe in it because that's my major, psychology, right? But everybody don't gel well with therapy, because I've been to therapy with people, and some people don't like that. They rather reveal or talk to you in a safe space with just you and them, and not with somebody else. But somebody else may be able to feel safer in a space with other people. So it just depends. But yes, Chris.
I agree with that. I think that's an option. I think another option too is if the other parent is able to pay all their bills, maybe the child should go with them while you figure yourself out. And number two, I don't understand how parents are able to pull their relationship together to co-parent, but they couldn't pull the relationship together enough to stay
Bingo.
together. Like all of a sudden, your communication is great and you're all collaborative when you're apart. But why couldn't you do it when you were together? That's an option as well, is to figure out how to communicate better whilst remaining in the relationship. And I don't understand why we think co-parenting, like I don't understand how co-parenting is still an option in most cases. Like if he's not a danger, if she's not a danger to you or your children, and there's a few other extreme circumstances, I think people need to figure it out. If you can figure out enough to be a parent, you should be able to figure out enough to be a girlfriend, ideally a wife, or vice versa, a husband. Like those are options as well. And I think we kind of scrap those. But if you can figure it out there, there's no excuse as to why that relationship couldn't have worked.
Well, I think there's different factors to that, right? Because people grow and mature at different levels, right? So maybe at that point when you had that child, you guys could not communicate because again, you might have been young and it just didn't pan out, right? And maybe you should not have had that child, right? Let's be realistic. You probably shouldn't have brought that child into the world in the situation that you were in at that moment. So there's always going to be situations where it's not conducive, right? Like, because I don't think some people don't set out to go, okay, I'm going to have this baby and we ain't going to be together, right? It doesn't always, something happens along the way where either you didn't know how to communicate at that age, maybe in your teens when you probably had that kid versus now that you're older. So,
that's the process you go through. Like,
so it's going to be, it's always going to be different dynamics of it because there's different situations and how the kid came along. So that's it's always going to be different.
I understand. I think my point is more so you've had the child, you've gotten through that. So let's say you had poor communication in the relationship, but now it's improving. Like you can go through that process together. And for some reason we are incentivized to separate and then try to work things out instead of staying together to work things out. And that's in so many aspects of our nation. If you're going to get a divorce, instead of you trying to reconcile it, right? They tell you to separate for a year in order to get your divorce. How are you going to say you have irreconcilable differences if you didn't even try to reconcile it, right? There was no incentive for you to actually stay together and work it out. They told you to separate in order for you to qualify for this divorce, right? And I feel like there's nothing that's like, I honestly think that a lot of couples don't try. They don't try until they absolutely need to. They'll try for their children, but they don't try for what the children actually need, which is two parents in the same home that get along and are happy being in whatever roles they are in. So I get that there are certain circumstances where it didn't work, but if you're mature enough to decide to have the baby, you should be mature enough to work on your relationship and learn how to communicate. If it's not working, figure out why and just try to figure it out together.
Yes, that's ideal. Yes.
I got only 2 points to add to this. One, y'all do realize that 65, maybe higher % of black people was born by accident. It wasn't planned pregnancy. It was mostly oops by accident. Second, a lot of motherfuckers don't know how to budget. Okay, let's be real.
Agree.
Niggas are sitting around here with iPhone 20 and you telling me you need child support to help take care of a child? No, nigga. Stop getting these fucking latest phones and bullshit for
They
yourself.
got phone insurance and no life insurance.
Come on. So this is why I said earlier, people don't give a fuck about their kids. Because if they did, like y'all said, what would come first? The Uber or the $3,000 car, hoopty, just to get you from point A to point B? You got to learn how to budget, live within your means. Stop worrying about a child support. Your lights wouldn't get cut off if you only stayed within your means.
Yeah, budgeting is major, and that's a major part of people's lives that have been that it has not been a part of.
There's a lot of black women. I'm gonna tell you straight out. They should only shop on Black Friday, no other time of the year. Okay? Because you listen, let's be real. You're talking about the heart of it. You got a 60-inch TV, an iPhone 20. Your hair is done every fucking week. What the fuck are you talking about child support?
You are
Bullshit.
correct. The best kind of correct.
Bullshit.
No,
But like I said-
but I do
No,
agree.
I
with you.
understand that.
Budgeting is major. Budgeting is really major, and so many things
am
could
not a
be
good
had
budgeter.
more if you budgeted correctly. You
What
wouldn't
would
have
hap-
to worry about.
Not a good budgeter. Like,
Let me ask y'all something real
I am
quick.
a budgeter.
Let me ask y'all something. Be honest. What do you think would happen if 70% of all these couples that's having babies, if 70% of the women had to pay child support? What do you think would happen?
They be married to them?
Married?
How about this? What do you think would happen if there was no public assistance? Period.
I told you.
Definitely was try to work out whatever they can with them.
Now niggas are gonna stop
Let's put it
fucking.
there that if no one is assisting you to buy food,
I made
pay
this
rent,
argument. I made this argument to you the last time, Carl, because you love to go after the men, and I do
I'm
get
going
it.
after both.
But again, like I said before, if there was 10 men and 10 women, you teach 10 men to control themselves, discipline as you love, and
Yes.
nine of them still control themselves. It only takes one man to still
One
impregnate
person.
those 10
Mhm.
women. All right,
Okay.
that's all I'm saying is it only takes that one guy. So I get it. We should crack down on the men, and the men should have discipline. But I would say a bigger responsibility should go on the women because they carry a heavier burden with the outcome.
I think it should. Why?
It's
I think
yeah,
both
you
should crack
I
down
think it
on.
should be both.
correct.
I think it
No,
should be
they-
both.
they
Correct.
got-
Both crack down on because women are
I
the
think it
ones
should
that
be both.
carry the child, but men are the ones that put the child in. So both should be cracked down on. Period.
Yeah, but y'all
Both-
stuck
both
with the
should be
kids.
cracked
That's why
down
he's
on.
saying that.
I think the men. I think it should go from women.
I think it's because having a child isn't a vulnerable position for a man to be in, but it's a very vulnerable position for a woman to be in. And
Yep.
so women need to be more careful. Men, when they have a child, they're like, yes, my DNA is going on to the next generation. That means I am a
Male.
superior male,
They
you
don't
know.
go on to the next one. Yeah.
That's the home base. That's it.
But
Yeah, they
Yeah,
just go
like-
on and have
but
more and
for-
more and more and more.
yeah,
Hey,
they
look
they
again.
feel-
And then they stressed out because now they one job can't take care of all the 9 kids they done gave.
But most of the time, all the men having the children, they don't pay the child support because they don't have the kids anyways. I think it's like what is it, like 10% of men impregnate
Exactly.
like 80%. All of those men half the time don't even have enough money to take care of themselves, get these women still to sleep with them. Then it's like, it's your job as a woman. You're the most vulnerable. After you have this child, you may not be able to work, right? So you need to make sure that you are having a baby with a man
So
that can
you
take care of you.
abolish child support, and you saying that women are the most vulnerable when they are pregnant, and they abolish child support.
I
And the
love
women
this
just have
part.
to make better decisions. Let's
That's,
be realistic.
There we go.
Women just have
That's
to
all
make
I'm
better
trying to say.
decisions.
That's
Like,
all
I
I'm
love
trying
this
to
part.
say.
you
They have to make.
have like as a woman you have to know better and start to do better, right? So like you'll have a person who have a kid with somebody, right? And then that guy is not taking care of the first child and you'll have 2 and 3 more with him. Like for what?
I forgot to tell y'all, there is more women than men on this planet.
Yeah, but still, if he has not shown the responsibility to take care of the one, why did you give him 3 and 4 more?
Because all
So
of us
what you're
is
doing
taught.
is making your life even more hard because you already know this person is not going to be present.
Or
So-
the ones that know that he's got 3 other baby mamas with
Yes.
with 7 other kids, and then they still choose to have a kid
Okay,
with him.
I'm gonna
And
look into the mind. Hold on.
As women, you
I'm gonna
do
look
your
into the
thing.
mind. Hold on. I'm gonna look into the mind of the person who is having these children with that person who is not taking care of the children they already have.
Okay.
What if you know that you just want to pass on your legacy and you know that you're gonna stay with this person, so you want to pass on your legacy, you know, you help with whatever they need help with the other children, but you can't force that man to do whatever they need to do for that person. You know what I'm saying?
Marry
All
them.
you can do is control your environment.
That's what marriage is for.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. This is just speaking from just one married lady's opinion. I'm just saying this is niggas tonight, and I'm just like, what if you just think that way? Like, yes, you're gonna love the other children from afar, but you know that I'm marrying this person. This who's gonna raise my children. They're gonna be around my children forever. So, and even if we do separate, guess what? I'm different from the other moms. They're gonna have their children. You know what I'm saying? So, what if you know that y'all gonna be able to live this life cohesively, even if y'all don't stay together? Even if you don't,
but that's what we're saying. That's what we're saying, Neek. Though the whole point of you have to do better and you have to make better decisions, right? Because you are getting a child involved in that toxic foolishness, right?
So Nick, you answered your own question, Nick.
I want to hear what she's saying. Hold on.
Get the next one up under it.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, like you're in this situation, right? You still have to make better decisions and better choices, regardless of how you put it, right? Because if not, this child is still going to be affected. And here you are talking about, I want to sow my royal oats too, and like, nah, like people have to do better. Like, it's just the bottom line. People have to do better.
Yeah. You ever notice that it's going back to your question earlier, Neek?
Okay.
You ever notice men are already conditioned and designed to make contingencies and women are not?
Can you elaborate on the contingencies?
Long-term thinking versus short-term thinking. Pacify for the right now versus someone that is a planner in a long-term aspect. Men are designed to be that way.
Long-term thinker, but I'm not a man. I'm a planner and a long-term thinker, but I'm not a man. So, I mean, that's not just indicative to men.
It is. You see, you missed the whole point.
It can't be absolute. It's not indicative, just not. Yes, it's indicative to men, but just not. Women do have that. Some women do have.
It's the same thing.
You want to give an example?
It's the same thing as pee standing up. But guess what, Nick? You learned how to pee standing up too. That doesn't make you a man because you learned how to do something that men are conditioned by nature to do.
Oh my God!
Just because you can do it, don't make you a man. You learned how to be a man by proxy. It's a difference.
Can you give an example of the contingencies? Like more
y'all lost me on that one.
Okay, contingencies. In other words, contingencies. Listen, men. We already know that men are generally like. If you're talking about the true man, it's always about thinking in a long-term way. Being on a job 20 years, life insurance, always having a plan B, C in case, because as a provider and protector, we have to make contingencies. We can't fail, because if we fail, the whole family structure fails. Oh, here we go. Go ahead, modern ladies.
Who think about the next? Who think about the next? Now, don't think about 10 years the next. Only think about the next. And
when you go food shopping, do you only concern yourself with enough food to last you a week, a month, or the next 2-3 months? How do you do your food shopping?
Oh, my husband food shopping. So,
oh my God, my point's already been made. Forget it.
Correct. The best kind of correct.
Yeah, so I live with someone who just thinks about the next. I think about the future. So I make moves to pan out years from now. Yeah. I live with somebody who just be like, well, you talking about years from now, but what I gotta go through from day to day to get from years from now. That's who I live with. So you just saying
y'all
that
switch bodies.
But that's just in some things. It's not all areas. It's just some things. There's some things that I'm very emotional on and impulsive on, and he's not.
Nah.
In certain areas that I'm very emotional and impulsive on, and he's not. And there's some things that I am, and he's not.
Here's the thing with it. No, they ain't switch nobody. It's the dynamic of their relationship.
Oh Lord, that's his friend.
Yeah, I don't think that is a gender kind of. I don't think that's identified by gender of how you think, and when it comes to long term and short term.
It's just how you think.
I don't think that's.
Sometimes it's a situational thing. So, for instance, right? I'm gonna typically. I've always been the head of the house. I've always been the primary provider, always, right? But I've never discounted anything my woman wanted to do. So, like, when Jay wanted to have a business, I started thinking like I'm gonna have to help her write the business plan because she don't know how, and she came to me with that help, right? So we sat down. But I also had to think about what extra I'm gonna have to do to help her fund this business and keep the house afloat in our current lifestyle while she makes money until she starts to make money. You understand? So I was just planning based on what she got going on. You understand what I'm saying? So like I'm her backup. Like period. She wasn't my backup. I was her backup. And I knew where her new business, like it's gonna be risky. Because she don't know, you know, she knows the business of what she doing, but she don't know business in general. Like she don't know. So that's just a case by case business. If I'm gonna support your thing, sometimes I have to make certain adjustments and start thinking about shorter than way out here. I have to right now.
That's for vice versa too, because if you wanted to start your business, she has to also do the same thing. So I don't think it's gender identified. I think it's situation kind of identified basically. So it's not
that's the new way of thinking, and that's why I was saying traditionally, and like I was getting ready to ask Doc using his example, how comfortable would you feel instead of being the provider and protector, the role switch?
I don't see how it would have switched.
You wouldn't feel comfortable with that.
No, it wouldn't switch. It wouldn't switch. It's basically them being each other's backbone. It wouldn't switch. I think you're taking a bigger situation than what it is. If
he owned to something, but that was just a bad example. I'll give him
the comfort zone of
give him a proper example because he's trying to demonstrate the differences of a man and a woman right now, right? I had an opportunity to at one point I was gonna marry Nasir, who was a cardiothoracic surgeon. She made like $600,000 a year. I was selling cars at the time, making about $200,000 a year, right? I wouldn't fucking marry that girl because I just felt like she didn't need me for shit, like nothing. Like what the fuck she need me for?
Because she didn't need you for anything?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's the way I'm wired. You know, I'm not gonna say there's nothing wrong with that. But she did not literally need me. She tried her best to make me feel like the comfort, you know, I wanted to feel. But I made up all kinds of excuses to just get the fuck away from her. Like, look, this is too much. I don't want to do this. I said that she was trying to encourage me to become a medical doctor because we had some very interesting conversations. I have a strong background in science, advanced sciences. So we had a lot of great conversations. And years later, after me and this woman broke up and she was going to support that idea, and I used the fact, oh, you just don't think I'm good enough, which was bullshit. It was just me. I felt like a fucking less than a man because she made so much damn money and I ain't see where I was needed in the house. Right?
Hey, you seen that?
Years later, I wanted to be a fucking doctor. It would have been so much damn easier if you got a damn wife who's a doctor just gonna write your fucking letters for you, gonna get you in the damn right residency. Like she gonna stir your ass the right way. That's my husband. Oh, okay, let him in. That's my husband. Okay, we'll take it. No. I was like, me, but that took you gotta understand, I was like 31, 32, young, very traditional, you know what I'm saying? And I just
prideful.
Very prideful.
Traditional.
The girl that was gonna marry Nikki, I told her, listen, let me get myself together because she kept just pushing it. Listen, man, I got to get my credit score up. I need to be able to bring you 9 bands. You done been in that house for 9 months. It's $1,000 a month. I need to be able to drop 9 bands in your fucking lap, period. Or I'm gonna feel like I'm outside. I'm gonna feel like I don't fucking belong there.
Now you're a roommate.
And I got step kids too. Come on, man. No, it's not about that. I need to catch up to where the fuck I want to pay my part into that her investment, so that I don't want to hear out of her mouth. No, you don't. No, you don't. I don't live off you. I don't do that. I just don't do. My granddad said, the woman moves to you, you don't move to her. That's the way that works.
You have to.
Is. And
you have to ask a question.
I'm set in my ways. I gotta be that guy.
All right, listen. So, out of the 3 women, because this is NIQUE Night's takeover of CKQ, and we letting them
Oh, sucky ducky.
all they points out.
Look
Right?
at Clemson up there, like.
Yeah, let me get all they points out today. So, out of all my 3 women here, is there any other point that y'all want to make before we start to close out the show?
Talk, you came in to say what? You came in to say bye?
Yeah. Before
it's over with.
Show, I'm gonna start with eloquently spoken, of course. We're gonna start with you. We're gonna be closing out the show. This is our closing statements. What we want to leave everybody with about what we were talking about: Black Girl Magic versus Black Girl Tragic. All of our opinions about what we watched today, or whatever. Anything you want to talk about, just say a closing statement, and then talk about where people can find you, and then
I think
the next person.
Listen, I think we done spoke more than enough tonight.
Okay. The closing last statement, and then
but no, I just wanted the takeaway from this is that just to hear everyone's difference in opinion and to be respectful of everyone's opinions. I'm big on that, because there's one thing when you have discussions and people feel like, because you don't agree, you can be disrespectful. So I'm definitely for that. And the takeaway from it is just, I guess, keep growing. Know that you are teachable and you can always keep learning. And that's it.
Yay! How you rotate, Clement? Next person.
Do this. And then drag and drop.
Okay.
You're muted.
Hey everybody, I just wanted to say I really thoroughly enjoyed the show. Nick, you did a wonderful job putting this together. I really enjoy having the panelists on here, listening to different perspectives. And I hope you guys actually come back to the show sometime. And my final thoughts are this: women, do a better job of who you choose to be with. There's a lot more of y'all than there are men, so I know you don't have a whole lot to. You don't have a really big sample size to choose from, but maybe let's go against something. Let's make a different method of how we choose. If we chose this guy and this guy using this method, let's do something different. Let's get a male friend involved and let him vet for you. A male cousin or something like that, not friend, because a male friend is probably sitting back wishing it was him. But that's a whole nother conversation. That's a whole nother conversation. Like I said, I really enjoyed the topics. I really enjoyed the show. Nick, you did a wonderful job. And you can find me on behavioral_consultant on IG. But mainly you can find me here every Tuesday here at CKQ Podcast. Good night, everybody.
Drag and drop. Unique. You muted also.
Chris muted.
I was in the middle of typing my message back. Okay, sorry. So hi everyone, I hope that you enjoyed the show. Good job, Nique. I'm so happy I was able to make it tonight. I was traveling this week and I'm so happy I was able to make it and I didn't miss this. You did an excellent job. Thanks. I guess my final words would be to, I don't know, like we kind of touched on a little bit of everything. So like Eloquently Spoken was saying, remain teachable. Don't be too prideful. It's okay to not know something. Ask for help as much as possible. And also start to believe that the people around you are fully competent, so you don't feel as though you have to do everything yourself because you think you're the only person that can do it well. Surround yourself with people that you trust, that you know are great people, believe in their abilities, and allow them to do the things that they're good at so you can focus on things that you're good at. It's always better to be amazing at a few things than average at a lot of things. So find what you're great at and stick to that. And I hope that you have a great journey on growing and becoming the person that you hope to be. And you can follow me on Instagram and you can reach out to me whenever you want if you need any advice. I take courses on womanhood and biblical womanhood and how to be a wife. So if you want information on the courses that I take, I'm happy to share that with you. But until next time, you can find me here every Tuesday. So subscribe to CAQ Podcast for more. And that's all I got.
Unique, you gonna switch out the next person?
Yeah, the topics have been everything, and honestly, we've literally touched on everything. What I can basically leave off of, like we said, please remain teachable. Really start digging down and learning yourself. Don't be ignorantly selfish. Do for others. Heal, 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 heal. Work on healing. Work on feeding yourself what you need to feed to nurture your body, your mind, because it all aligns. You can find me, as you see here, Lene Monroe, the Mother Herbal Butterfly. I do open mics. I do conversations with open spaces, just to get people to really feel comfortable being transparent, feeling comfortable of talking about things that make you uncomfortable. So definitely come follow me and we can, work on this journey together because you are not alone. You are not alone. Thank you, Nique, for having me. I appreciate you. You did so great, and I'm so thankful you got me to come here. I love it. I love it.
Hey, everybody. Call Chef on Instagram. And the only thing I'm going to say is know the difference and stick to one side. Either you're going to be traditional or modern because the two are not intertwined. You cannot combine them and you'll be chasing your tail trying to. It hasn't worked for anybody and it's not going to start because you think you're different. So the bottom line is if you're going to be traditional, stick to be traditional. If you're going to be modern, but please don't try to intertwine the two. That's it.
That's what I'm talking about. That's why he's MVP. That's why he's the GOAT. The GOAT.
Hey guys, my name is Top.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I wanted to come in and congratulate you on how well you did as the host tonight.
Yes.
On CKQ's podcast. I was bouncing in and out listening to the subject matter and interesting, different ways of thinking. So I just want to say thank you to you and the rest of the panel. And just keep it up. I think that's great that you was able to host it. I never came over to one of yours. And this is the first time I've seen you host, so it was pretty cool. Yeah.
Thank you, Tom.
Yeah. But anyway, y'all come on over to CKQ's podcast and subscribe, man. Get over here, check out, learn some things, pour in as you get poured on. It's not a monologue. This is a dialogue where we have conversations and definitely some takeaways, different perspectives. So that's it for me. Y'all have a good night.
thank you guys for watching. My name is Clement. I'm just a panelist today. If you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button to this channel for more content like this. We go live every Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, where we're now going to start doing a rotating panel of different hosts. So the host is going to be different every week. Only requirements that you've been on the show at least twice, and I guess the other main panelists have verified that you can be a host, and from there we can allow you to host a show. But the main takeaway from this show, Unique, you did an amazing job, so thank you so much for hosting. It was great, and I'm looking forward to the next one with you on a bow tie. Okay, so but it was an amazing show. But the takeaway that I would say is, for people, life is about relationships, and more than anything, we need to become better at connecting with each other and staying in long-lasting relationships, being a little bit more forgiving and understanding. I think a lot of times we put too high of requirements on people that are just as flawed as we are. And obviously the requirements that we put on some people, a lot can't reach that. We ourselves can't even reach that. So it damages a lot of relationships. And most of the times we need to take a step back from our ego and ourselves and realize, like, hey, I'm not perfect. This person's not perfect. And we need to work and understand that we're going to make a lot of mistakes as we move forward. But in the end, it's all going to be worth it, because the more mistakes you make with that person, the more you're able to forgive and move forward and move past those mistakes. That's where you get the 60, 70, 80 years marriages that really like traverse time. And that's the entire goal. In the end of the day, we can't be so quick to dispose of each other so quickly. And I believe that's what the government wants us to think. That's what social media would like us to believe. But we're all human in the end of the day. We all want that connection. And to get that connection, we have to get rid of those egos, put aside those egos, and really try to live like God. And that's my spiel.
Amen.
All right.
Oh my God.
Yes, thank you so much. Oh my gosh, eloquently spoken. Renee, Ebony, Carl, John, Clement, Tom, Cole, everybody. I love y'all.
Amazing job.
Coming. I was so nervous. I was crazy all over the place before we started. So I wanted to close out because a lot of times I get tongue-tied and I veer off like Simon. That's why, I love Simon, because me and him, we do the same thing. We start talking about one thing, and then next thing you know, we start thinking and talking about another thing. So, yeah. So I am going to close off tonight with not my opinion a little bit, because y'all already know what I think of Black Girl Magic and Black Girl Tragedy. It's an excerpt from Zoe Williams, who y'all know I love and talk about all the time. It's The Relationship Dismount. That's the name of his book, one of his books. And it's on page 81. There is a Japanese art form called, John, what's the name? John, where you at?
I'm right here.
Kusakushi?
No, Kusakurai.
All right. There's a Japanese form art called Kusakurai that involves broken.
Kintsukuro.
That involves mending broken ceramics with lacquer mixed with gold. This kind of repair does not try to hide the fact that ceramic piece, such as a bowl or teapot, was dropped and broken. Instead, it makes the brokenness part of the item's new identity. But the repair is not done cheaply or carelessly. It is not just a matter of using metal staples for functionality to hold the parts together. Like the ugly zigzags of the stitches, holding the Frankenstein monster's head on to its body, right? Holding on to its body. The kurokutsu in itself is an art that embodies a philosophy. And to me, that is like from going from black girl tragic to black girl magic. Like, you become magical. You're lacquered in all of these golden things, these pieces, because you have to go through tragedies and go through relationships in order to ignite your magic.
That's what I'm talking about. That's why he's doing me. That's why he's the GOAT. The GOAT.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
That sounded so sensual in a way.
And that was so inspirational that, you know, that should give someone out here listening, you know, when you've gone through a tragedy and you put the pieces back together, you don't have to hide that. Like, just bloom and blossom in that. You feel me? And when you are ready to get back on the relationship, find someone who embraces that shit and loves you just the way you are, just how you are. Like, you don't have to make all these things, all your brokenness, and they just right there with you, and they just admiring your goals and all your pieces and shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, the takeover. We out. Go ahead, Clement. Hit it.
Hit it. All right. Everyone, it's been an amazing night. It's been an amazing show. Hope to see you guys next Tuesday. Until then,
peace and cooperation.
If we're doing everything right, I think we should be vetting our wives. Like go to their parents, go to their fathers.
They know they shouldn't have let me start speaking my mind in the booth. Start speaking the truth. Might get shot.
I think you're just saying, okay, actions have consequences, and I'm not going to support this person's actions. Like, you don't have to cancel them and say, like, I hate you.
Innocent lives have to die.
I. But the whole thing is men are I also. That man was on the other side doing the exact same thing, and his decision with his eyes was to walk away.
Inside your soul.
Now we can paint the perfect picture without belittling each other. Cause under God's system,
we are equipped to handle that responsibility. But not every man is fit to handle that responsibility.
I done seen Flint, Michigan,
and it's just being
cities. They pissing in project buildings that got a roof that leaks, resulting in missing ceilings. Hard to sleep. Children going to schools dealing issues deep.
So I think society does make it more difficult for short men, but I don't think that it's impossible that they can find someone.
And expecting you to do your part. It ain't hard to see they trying to keep black in the back, just like Rosa Parks. Cops shooting blacks as if they get a token from God. School rob you with needed resources.
Is the weaker vessel and the more vulnerable.
Absolutely, 100%.
You don't look at the man like, oh, poor son, you were violated. No, you like, right.
And nobody shift my stick like some cars. And when you're lonely in your darkest thoughts come, I know it's hard, but God shines his light on all I play their part, and it's the start.
Put myself in a situation where I can only rely on a man. Like, if I'm married and being a stay-at-home mom, I need to have a backup in case anything happens. I can't only rely on him. You know what I'm saying?
A flower will grow once you plant the seed inside your soul.
Poet, and the best part of me shows it. Here to speak the message of what is known, but not what it takes. Expose it, listen closer as I take you on a mental path. See divisions, the math, hoping we clash on lower levels just like in the past. Before we begin to see spared lives, keep in mind the first 3 letters of unity starts with you and I. And maybe then we can all thrive, changing the narratives of our lives, finding belief from inside. We gotta come together, different feathers, and we fly together despite any weather, evolving up forward just like propellers, using negatives to fuel positives. How we change the mark, just like taking the devil's flames just to warm the coldest heart. Mama knew it from the start. DC Mo would be a spark to lead the light that works its way out.